What's going on, everybody? I'm happy that you're here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever time it is, or wherever you're at. Appreciate you making it. And I'm happy to say that we have a very interesting stream today, folks. We're going to go ahead and make this one brief, condensed, at least I say that in comparison to what our live streams normally are. And we got some special guests for this one. First and foremost, I could not be happier than to bring along the person that was advertised on the title of this with me, Anthony from Fever Dreamland Theater himself.
I thought you were actually going to bring him. I was excited.
Yeah,
I'm let down at myself.
Apologies, everybody. I have no idea what that was there. That was not intentional at all. I'm just joking. Let's bring back Mr. Jonathan from Man of Movies.
I have something to say.
But it's cutting out so much. It's because of that. You got the green screen behind you. Is it a green lightsaber? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame because it looked
Can you hear me?
And that was now I can.
It's a green lightsaber, so of course it's gonna. Why didn't I not think of that?
Yeah, I know. I was like, because at first I just saw you holding it, looked like maybe like a remote or something or whatever, and then I just realized, oh no, there's something going on there. Well, yeah, that was definitely a cool way to do an introduction, and I feel bad that it didn't exactly pan out the way you thought. Because look, you got the cool setup, you got fucking R2D2 and C3PO behind you and stuff. This is great.
Yeah, cool lightsaber would have done it, man. And Anthony.
Yeah, I know. Which, by the way, everybody, not to get you disappointed in case you're sitting here thinking, hey, I only clicked this because Anthony was going to be here. I understand. I really do, right? So thank you for putting up with us for right now. Anthony should be here relatively shortly. He's got the link, and he knows where we're at. So he will be here sooner than later. In the meantime, just going to say what's up to some people. Schofield, what's going on, man? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you stopping by as always. And just to kind of answer, I believe you were the first. At least you were the first comment. So,
oh yeah,
congratulations,
what up, Schofield.
Who else we got? Eric Thorpe reviews in the house.
Yo, what up, Eric?
What's going on, Eric? Thank you so much for being by, man. I was hoping that this wouldn't be too short notice, but I've been doing a little bit better. A little bit better with getting that promotion out there, right, as far as ahead of time. Don't worry, folks. We'll eventually get it down, and there will be like a proper heads up notice, right? We're working out the kinks.
Yeah.
Got Katie here as well. Hi, friends. What's up, Katie? Popping the popcorn.
What is up, Katie? We should start doing like giveaways for our last minute live streams. Like last minute, we'll go first one there gets $10 gift card, and we get like 1,000 views, 1,000 viewers.
That would be amazing. That's right. All we got to do is just sell our souls a little bit, right? Dish some stuff out like that, and we can go ahead and get rake in the views there. That would be perfect. Maybe we'll switch it up. We'll get like Obi-Wan figurines or something. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
that's right. Or no, it'll all be Riva. One of those. John?
One of those two.
Help us out here, John.
I'll try.
Is it Reva or Riva?
Yep. It's the third sister, Reva.
I believe it's just, Reva, right? I don't know why I've heard some people say Riva, and when they say it, it sounds, for just a quick moment, like convincing.
Nah, no, man. No. Not Riva. Riva? No.
You would need like another E in there, right?
Yeah, you would need 2 E's.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Also, what's up, Angela? It is great to see you. What is it? You got, where's Shane? Where's Shane at? I know if you're around here, then chances are he's probably around somewhere, huh? If not, just at least tell him I said what's up and thank you for stopping by. And wait, it looks like Reva.
Yeah, I was gonna say like REA could be Rhea. It could be Rhea.
It's Rhea Va.
Rhea Va.
You uncultured swine.
Wow.
Rhea Va.
Rhea Va. Sounds like a Star Wars name.
Actually, it really does. That does sound like it could be a perfect Star Wars name, there.
Right? Riava.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. So as we start to get into this, and as we get Anthony connected here, because I could see he's at least gotten the link now. Well, I mean, he had it for sure, but I've seen that he's seen it. You know how that like shit with messages now, like you can see when someone sees something.
Yeah.
How weird it is these days. And yeah, okay, hold on. I was hoping that by the time I finished my sentence, yes, this is perfect timing. Okay, so here we go, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, coming all the way from Fever Dreamland Theater, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Anthony!
Hey! What's up, guys?
What
Was-
up, Anthony?
How you
Look
guys
at-
doing?
Look at my lightsaber.
Nice. Nice.
It's a green one, so you can't see the you can't see the blade.
Okay.
Anthony, was that epic enough of an intro for you? I hope I
That
didn't let
was
you down.
awesome. I don't know what I did to deserve that, but I'll take it.
Well, it is great to have the trio that we got here and ready to go ahead and talk about this show that is it started off with quite a bang, and we're now already halfway through it, crazy enough, which I really can't believe that that's already the case. Because at least for a while, I don't know about you guys, I didn't actually know until right up to the release of the show that it was going to be a 2-episode premiere. I had just thought it was going to be, 6 weeks of this stuff, and all of a sudden was like, oh, great. Okay, we're getting 2 episodes right away. I was definitely happy about that. And then I had a little bit of mixed emotions because I was like, well, that just means that it's going to be shorter as far as, all together. So now we've got episode 3 recently. Was tempted to do a stream of just the first 2 episodes, but wanted to make sure that I could get you guys to join along with. So now that we've had the first half of the show, just in general, what do we think? Maybe where do we think it's going? But however you'd like to start things off, Anthony, I will throw it over to you first, my man.
All right. So, I mean, this is going to be a Star Wars discussion, so it should be as unpleasant as possible.
Yes.
We need to be really nasty and insulting toward each other. No.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
It's ugly out there, man. Oh my god. No, but seriously, I'm mostly happy with it. There's some issues, but I mean, right now it's tough to say because I feel like there's a few things that off the bat the show feels a little bit off in certain ways, but not drastically off. I think I like where it's going. I'm okay with it so far. It's definitely not like a dud or anything like that. It's not a terrible show or anything like that. Thank God, because it's like you never know which way these things are gonna go. It could have just been like really bad. So for me, so far so good. It's okay, but I do feel like I want to like sort of like I'm looking forward to seeing where all of this goes, and then I'll be able to really judge, did this all come together enough for me? Like, does it all work? Right now, it's mostly working. Right now, it's mostly functioning. There's a few minor things, but we don't have much time, so I don't want to rant too much. But that's where I'm at with it. I'm mostly okay with it.
Okay. And I think mostly okay is like a pretty good way to put it, right? I think sometimes you get some people that are just so quick to blow a lot of stuff out of proportion, whether it be in a positive or a negative way. But this is just something where, right, to kind of break straight to the point, it is mostly okay, right? Got a lot of great stuff in there. Hopefully it'll get even better, but I can say I'm pretty much in line with that, but I will hold off just a little bit because, John, I'm dying to know what you're thinking over there, man.
Dude, I am really enjoying my time with Obi-Wan, and once we get more into this discussion, I'm curious as to what you guys have against it, if anything, because I'm loving it. I'm loving this series, and I think these first 3 episodes have been some of the best Star Wars TV. For reasons other than just fanboy moments, I think just the way the story has been progressing, the way that we got thrown into Obi-Wan's life now 10 years later, and how the events of the prequels have had the repercussions that they had. I think it was Anthony that said it last week, but this does feel like a love letter to the prequels, 100%. I don't know how anyone could disagree with that. Every episode has some sort of flashback, which is just a scene from one of the prequels. It is such a love letter to the prequels, and maybe that's that nostalgia. It's what's winning me over a little bit. Because I am loving it, man. I am really loving it. And again, these 3 episodes, I would say have been the strongest first 3 episodes of any Star Wars show. First 3 episodes.
Even Mandalorian, you'd say? Like
Yeah,
first season?
I think for first 3 episodes, yes.
Well, and that's something where it's definitely kind of easy to see where you're coming from, and I would agree. I mean, Mandalorian, it's a brand new character. It was a fresh, clean slate. It was Star Wars universe that we were familiar with, but not the character whatsoever, so it kind of gave a new, different experience. Book of Boba Fett, having been the really only other contender to throw into the mix here, was the first time that we had a show based around an established character that was already known very well. And yeah, I do not think, even though that actually had a decent start and was interesting and compelling to begin with, I don't think it was as good or compelling as what this has been so far. And, trust me, it's one of those where I can't wait to get into as far as some of the minor issues, but I emphasize heavily from the get-go that they are, thank goodness, minor issues. I am really pleased to be able to say that there is nothing that is overwhelmingly like intolerable or why would they do this? There's some things I do have huge questions about, and some things that I'm guessing that I only have an issue with because we haven't seen where the show is going yet. But we'll go ahead and I guess talk that through here. So first and foremost, I just want to go ahead and throw a couple of things out that I saw some people throw into the mix. Looks like episode 3 is what really sold Eric on this show in particular, and it looks like maybe a part of the reason of that was because he liked seeing Ilaria Sand pop up this week. Which, if in case, I know, John, you're really probably like, what in the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
That's a Game of Thrones character. The woman who is helping out Obi-Wan and, saved her from Vader, essentially, if you will. Yeah, she's from Game of Thrones.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Ooh, looks like Angela's telling Shane to get on, and looks like he is here. Hey, sorry, was late. Was rewatching Rebels. Ooh, good choice, man. Good choice. Yeah, no apologies. I'm just happy that you can make it in general.
But wait. Is Rebels even canon anymore? Because
it is.
I was gonna say no.
We'll get to that.
It's still totally canon, but you bring up, that's one of my biggest issues. No, Anthony, I know, man. I know. It's one of my biggest issues, dude. I can't get over it. So anyway.
Man, I got over it.
In this live stream, we're going to help Jace get over it.
There we go.
This is just a big intervention.
Yep. The title, by the way, I'm sorry, it's misdirection. I'm going to retitle the stream after the video's over, but the actual title is supposed to be Let's Help Jace Get Over the Grand Inquisitor. We got some people that are just showing some love as far as the fact that Anthony is here.
Hey. How you doing, everybody? It's good to see you.
And it seems as though Schofield will be back a little bit later with us. Also, was happy to see, dude, we got Sean over here.
Hey.
What up, Sean?
What's going on? And, I don't know. When he mentioned this, I didn't know how to react right away. So have you guys seen what the Rotten Tomato score is?
No, I'd have to check it. I'm hoping it's good, but is it? I can't tell from that face there. Does that mean it's bad?
Right? I know, because that could easily be either way. So
same.
Yeah, that's a shocking of how positive it is. Like,
you know what? Anthony's probably looking it up, but remember the hate that the racist hate that Moses Ingram was getting. There we go. Dude, I could see a lot of people just like putting it down just for that.
Right,
yeah, I know, and
it's
88% my ass, bro.
Yeah, seriously.
What is that that's for the critics, and the audience score is 58%. So it looks like Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know. Maybe it's getting hammered with like a certain segment of fans, or that's just the legit score. It's 58%. It's split. Fans are divided. I don't know.
No way.
58%. That doesn't feel right. Jakes, you have some issues with it. Would you even say that feels?
Not even close. That's totally unfair. I mean, like, it's something where of course, I have a biased opinion because I'm just a huge Star Wars nerd in totality, but I truly believe that is a completely, absolutely unfair and not accurate depiction of how good the show is. The score is completely out of whack. I have no idea if that's just because of the amount of people. I mean, to be fair, like, I don't do any scores on Rotten Tomatoes, so what the fuck? Like, how are we really supposed to believe? Like, who is this community of Rotten Tomatoes that's in the audience score? In other words, it's a quick way of saying anybody that looks into that stuff, go for it. I'm not saying stop, right? As far as like critics, audience members, reviews, opinions from other people. I mean, hell, we all have channels that talk about, like reviewing movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to discredit anybody with it, but at the end of the day, all of that stuff can politely be put to the side and you make up your own fucking mind on how things are, right? Like, you should never choose whether to watch something or not watch something simply because of a score that's been rated on anywhere. I don't care if it's IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, whatever the case is. That should never be the situation, because what someone thinks is shit, you may think is the best thing in the world, and something that you think is fucking amazing, someone else could be like, this was the worst thing I've ever seen. So, and then just to draw backwards specifically to Obi-Wan, holy crap, man. Even with any slight issues, I would still rate this score extremely high.
Yeah.
Oh, easily. Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is what it is.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's see. As far as one to kind of get towards, because it looks like, thank goodness. Oh, hey, just got a little bit of agreement here. Yeah. Amen. Thank you, Sean. It's all opinions, and we're just sharing them. Right, exactly. At the end of the day, like, you could still definitely listen to people, still hear them out. And I mean, obviously, when you get some people that you like their opinions, maybe you entrust in that even more. And that's fine, but that should never completely change and decide your own opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Angel's in here. What's up, Angel?
What up, good luck?
What's going on? And then at least we got real quick as far as it looks like for Eric himself shows an overall 8 out of 10 for me right now. Honestly, yeah, I think that's probably where I'd throw it as well, right? I think it has the potential to absolutely spike up, but I'd say 8.5. Cool. First thing that I kind of wanted to get into here is one element of the show that I don't want to start off immediately with a negative. I think we kind of immediately established that we have some positive emotions on this show for sure. However, there's one kind of glaring issue that it's really weird. I'm super happy with this. I'm also not that pleased with how it's been executed within the show. And that's the Inquisitors in total, not just Reva, right? The Inquisitors in total. So I could not have been more pleased when they were announcing the show, and especially when leaks started coming out, rumors were coming around that the Inquisitors were going to be a big part of this. And man, I feel like that's one of the most interesting elements and storylines within Star Wars, and I love how we got introduced to it within the video games, within the animated series, a little bit of comics, if I'm not mistaken. But as far as live action, it's just never even been hinted at. So having it brought in here is perfect. But with that being said, and I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like they are one of the most off elements of the show. Everything about them, other than kind of their initial introduction where they came in this really badass way, everything just seems to not really work the way that you would expect. Like, I feel like they're not as imposing as they really should be. And they also seem to act differently than any other version of Inquisitors that I've seen. But before I kind of just start immediately divulging into like, oh, it's the worst and everything, I am curious, at least just first impressions, if I'm alone in that. So, John, I'll throw it over to you. Like, as far as how do you feel about the Inquisitors?
I'm absolutely fine with the Inquisitors. I think the only thing I have, and this is such a nitpicky thing, it doesn't ruin the show for me. I am not a fan of the prosthetics or makeup they use for the Grand Inquisitor or even the fifth brother. It's a little too wonky. It takes me out of the world per se. But when it comes to the portrayal of the Inquisitors, I have no issue with it. I'm not gonna lie, man. I think that they've been doing good thus far. And while it's not been what we've known, what we've seen, I go back to some of the best Inquisitor moments in Rebels. But if you really want to take it this way, Rebels isn't for another 6 years in Obi-Wan's timeline. A lot can happen in 6 years. A lot of change, a lot of order, a lot of reconstruction within the Inquisitors that could make them into the ones that we know. Maybe that's why they seem so different now. I have no issue with it. Honestly, I'm really liking it thus far. Not gonna lie.
Okay. Well, and hey, you know what? For what it's worth, I'm glad that's the case. Because when I say it's tough, man. Anytime that there is some sort of like criticism, of course, it immediately sounds of like, okay, Jay, so why do you hate the Inquisitors? And that really isn't the situation. Of course, I'm just really happy that they're there. But I think it's me being happy that they're there is what's helping me look past certain things. Like, John, your example there or explanation of it being earlier on in their history is probably one of the only sufficient things I'd be okay with, because this is one of my biggest glaring issues with them overall. They are seemingly not an evil force.
Okay.
There is nothing other than the fact that they are hunting Jedi and mentioning that they're hunting Jedi. There really hasn't been too much that shows them as an intimidating factor that they realistically are, right? They are an extension of Vader, and by all means, like an intimidating thing. That's the best word I could think of for it. And really, it's weird because when you get like that first scene, the Grand Inquisitor, he's setting the tone. It's seeming like it's definitely intimidating, but then all of a sudden Reva steps up and she's going to do something that they consider to be too like far, that they're like, oh, you're doing too much. And I just kind of thought, how is that doing to you're Inquisitors? You're supposed to be kind of brutal and ruthless and everything. And then to the point where they were like, not just saying you're not just going too far, we're also like not here to hurt people. Like, and then all of a sudden they're offering prizes to the civilians. Like, hey, no, we're not going to threaten you. We're going to give you rewards if you tell us all this stuff. I would be okay with that if they were using that to trick people, and that they weren't really giving rewards, and that they were just going to like torture people and get the answers that they need and then leave them, hung up for dry. But that's the thing that, again, is weird to me, is that they are not vicious in really any way other than their appearance and kind of the fact that they look maybe or try to come off as imposing, but it doesn't necessarily come off as successful for me. Again, Rev is the only one who is actually, in my eyes, acting like an Inquisitor, but then it just comes as like a bit of a conflicting thing, because it seems as though none of the other Inquisitors are alongside with how she's going about stuff. So that's, at least I just want to throw that part in there as far as where my big issue is stemming from with them, if anything. But Anthony, I'd love to go ahead and throw it to you as far as not just Inquisitors in general, but do you feel like it's a valid point of what I'm throwing out there or not?
I mean, yeah, I think I do. I'm not feeling the threat level as much, but I'm wondering if the reason for that is just so that the Inquisitors, like, so that an audience, so that humans can differentiate a little bit more. Like Vader's like the top villain, and then as these guys, they might bully you, they might threaten you a little. Vader's gonna break your neck. So maybe that's the reason why they're toned down and they're not as vicious as you'd like them to be. I mean, for me, they're okay villains. They're fine. I don't know that they're as consistent as they were in the comics and in Rebels per se. The look of the Grand Inquisitor has grown on me. I'm still not in love with it, but that was my problem with it. But that's just a visual thing. I think the story is more important here. I'm liking the dynamics between the Inquisitors and how there's like this infighting and there's this backstabbing. That feels very Sith-like. This whole idea of just there's like a struggle for power. We don't now, as far as Reva goes, like there's not really, there's this big mystery still surrounding her, and there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Maybe when we get those answers, I don't know, maybe you'll feel a bit better about that character. I'm not too sure. Right now I'm okay with her. I'm just wondering about certain things that I think you have an issue with, Jace, right? Where like how Vader and Anakin she knows this. She seems to have a lot of knowledge that that's a bit of a surprise, and we need to see that backstory. We need to see some of that stuff answered. I think we will. I hope we will.
Yeah,
I have a question concerning the Inquisitors that maybe you guys could answer for me. The reason that they're numbered is it because that's the way they came in, or is it some sort of ranking system?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't think it is the order that they came in. But I can't say for sure. But at the same time,
the only reason I would say that, Jace, is because of the Grand Inquisitor.
Right.
I would think as of the Grand Inquisitor as the first brother or first sister.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking, like, if it's a ranking or anything. Now if it is a ranking, and they're ranked like fifth brothers in fifth place, fourth sisters in fourth place, third sister Reva, she should then be in third place. Why is she being looked at to be the Grand Inquisitor? Again, Anthony, this probably goes to what you were saying about there's a lot of questions that will probably be answered as to why Vader looks so highly upon her, even though she's so new, even though she's so naive.
has she appeared in the books or comics or anything? So it's a totally, to be clear, she is a brand new character.
Brand new, yeah. This is the first
All right.
time we've ever seen her. Was here.
Okay.
I tried looking up real quick just out of curiosity if there was any like true answers. I'm sure there is, as it's I'm definitely skimming through.
Wow. Well, but if we're not sure, then even more casual viewers are probably like first sister, third brothers, uncle. I don't.
Her brothers once removed.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually,
Give them names.
That's got to be confusing as fuck for people. They're just like, wait a second. So is this one like dysfunctional family? Like, did Vader adopt all these people, or what's going on here?
Yo, but Jace, you're trying to make a joke, but I think that's the best way to kind of explain the Inquisitors to a casual person that doesn't really get Star Wars like that. Vader kind of has adopted these Force-sensitive children, and they do his bidding, and it's one big kiss ass contest.
But there's logic to it, right? Like that Vader would have, these hired guns. He as awesome as he is, he can't do it all, in terms of hunting Jedi. So that's why I've always liked the idea of the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
I mean, and it makes sense. There's a logic to it.
Oh yeah. Well, because that's as far as there's however many surviving Jedi. Like we slowly over time have found out about one other here and one other there and one other here and so on and so forth. And yeah, I mean there's an entire fucking galaxy to go ahead and cover and everything. So obviously it's pretty fair to say that it's like, hey, if I'm gonna be like kind of running shit from my castle on Mustafar, I might need some people out there, not just probe droids to find people, but actual like people with lightsabers like myself that might go ahead and do some murking on my behalf. Well, I will go ahead and at least say that, my only other kind of mention right away that I wanted to throw in was, Anthony, what you were hinting at with the Grand Inquisitor earlier, which is, I'm sure we can probably go ahead and say it right away that he's not actually dead. But what the fucking shit with this whole killing the Grand Inquisitor, man? Now,
I don't. It's weird. I'm not getting it. Maybe maybe it's a bit like a Cop Van type thing. We're gonna get a.
Yeah, dude. I think it's more for the casual viewer. Like Francis, for example, never saw Rebels. Mm-hmm. She was by me the whole time and never saw it. So that's another discussion. But
it's on the phone.
Yeah, exactly. So she didn't know who the Grand Inquisitor was. This was her introduction to the Grand Inquisitor, and to see him die, or quote unquote die. That's what she thought happened. But then I told her, it's like, he's not dead. He's in Rebels. Yeah. So the hardcore fans are all deny. But then you have these new people, whether it be the ones that are beside the hardcore fans, or maybe some newcomers that start with Obi-Wan, maybe think, wow, this guy's dead. This Riva character is very menacing and helps them understand.
Maybe that's why it happened. It's just a means to build up Riva. Although that's weird, but no matter what, Rebels isn't being like written out of canon. In all seriousness, that's not happening. And if it was, then they may as well have just used Darth Maul for this show. To be honest here, because that. If
what's
his
rewrite
any story, then that would be the.
What's his species again?
Zabrak.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Is one of the Inquisitors that?
No, but Obi-Wan ran into a Zabrakian in the show.
Yeah, he was one of when he was trying to find Leia. I thought one of the Inquisitors was one of the, because she just had the same markings. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the girl with like the tiny things on it? Yeah,
like the tiny Twi'lek.
Right, and exactly. Maybe she's just a variation of a Twi'lek or something like that, or maybe a fucking Twi'lek had sex with a Zabrakian, and that's what we got, bro. Right? I mean, hey, who's to say there can't be crossbreeding in Star Wars?
Spicy. I like it.
Well, at least, yeah, it's definitely something where I guess the other issue, because again, I'm on the same train as probably what a lot of, as you were saying, John, like the fans that have seen Rebels, which, by the way, I'm sorry for anyone that hasn't seen Rebels and you're watching this and you didn't realize that this is the case. But yeah, Grand Inquisitor is the main antagonist of the first season of Rebels. And then, spoiler alert, he dies in that show. Like, so that's kind of something that, we already know, like we've seen his fate. So it just seems like weird. And why would you even bother with the misdirection here? Even if it is for a new fan's sake, like, okay, but damn well there's plenty of people though that have seen Rebels that are going to be watching this, and you know damn well you're just going to leave those people utterly confused. Maybe that's what they intended to do. I mean, they're like, haha, we're just going to really pull a fast one on you and make you wonder what the fuck is going on here. And if that's what they were aiming for, then they're succeeding.
Yes.
But my
I
other
can tell from
issue,
the Rotten Tomato score, they're succeeding.
yeah, for real, Anthony. Yeah.
my other issue with it in totality, though, is just I know why they did it. Like you guys said, it's to build up the character of Reva. Here's my issue. I don't feel that was successful. None of it felt earned. She's just this, like, she's just rebellious just because, right? And at first, I thought she was rebellious because she had some sort of personal angst against Obi-Wan. Like, I thought we were going to find out, and again, maybe we will within the show, that there was some tie to her. Maybe she, I don't know, somehow encountered Obi-Wan before he left the Jedi Temple when Order 66 was going down, even though I don't think he was anywhere near there. So I have no clue as to what the tie could be, but I thought there was going to be something as to why she wanted to go and find Obi-Wan as well. But when it all turns into like, no, I'm only here doing this, and then I'm going to kill the Grand Inquisitor, like, way too fucking easily, by the way. Like, that was just, even though it was a by surprise move, way too easy. And then it's all because, no, I just want to be the next Grand Inquisitor. Don't get me wrong. Makes sense. Is believable. I do picture Inquisitors probably, fighting for the top spot like that, trying to be Vader's right-hand guy or girl. But at the same time, again, none of it felt like earned to me. It's just like, nope, it's just there because. Like, I'm here trying to watch a fucking Obi-Wan story, and you're just like kind of shoehorning this thing in that you're acting like it's hey, but this is a good, compelling storyline too. Again, maybe towards the end of it, it really will be. But as of right now, it's just like, get out of here, you annoying little girl. I don't want to keep I'm sorry, dude. She's just got an attitude, and I get she's just acting the role right. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, people, I want to make sure since there's been some like back and forth as far as like the drama and everything. Totally nothing against as far as the actress. If anything, I'm actually complimenting the actress because I fucking don't like the character, and that's because she's playing it the way that it's intended to be. Right? You're not usually supposed to like villains all the time. They're not supposed to always be the most charismatic things. So if anything, like I said, I'm giving her credit. And it's also, I blame more so the writing than I do her in any way, shape, or form. Because I feel like it's just the way that they're writing it in is just, dude, she knows too much, like for no explicable reason. She's like seemingly too powerful for no explicable reason. And it's weird. It just feels kind of off. Like how we were bringing up very quickly earlier, I am not okay with the fact that she knows that Vader is Anakin. That makes no sense to me. It has been an established thing in Star Wars lore that when Vader knows somebody knows he's Anakin, or if someone mentions Anakin around him or something, they get fucked up. It's not something he's cool with. So I don't know where this whole thing stemmed from. And that's why we have like as far as our own personal group chat and stuff, and John and I were trying to, kind of decipher where this could be stemming from. And we had pretty different viewpoints for sure, because John, I know you were throwing out about maybe Vader told her. Now, and that's something where at least I'll still throw it out there because it's a valid option. Personally speaking, I can never see that being the case. I do not see how he would ever be okay with telling someone that's his history unless they knew he was Anakin beforehand. Like he knew them. But then of course my guess is not like it's that much more viable. It's just, I thought she seemingly has this like Kylo Ren mind reading power where I can just probe your head and know what you're thinking and not have to ask you. And for a brief moment thought that maybe she did that to Vader. Now, John,
but if
of
she
course,
did that, that's not a good thing either.
No, of course not, right? And so I would not be cool if that she did that. Like, that's what the hell, man? She's already kind of maybe doing a little too much. You're going to make her do something like that. And that's kind of where, that's what, John, not to, again, just speak on your behalf, but to say the reply that was already put, you mentioned of like, dude, no, it's Vader. Like, how the fuck could she mind probe Vader? So this is the only logical resolution I could try to bring from both of our thoughts there. And I threw this into the chat as well, which is perhaps maybe she went to mind probe him thinking like, I'm going to get some fucking upper hand leverage, right? Like, yeah, I'm trying to like get to underneath Vader or something, but I'm also just trying to like be the next Vader, right? Maybe she has like higher ambitions. So I picture that maybe she went to do that. Going to do so, Vader was like, I know what you're fucking up to. And maybe, just maybe, as crazy as this would seem, maybe he let her do it on purpose so that she could go ahead, get some info, and he would know now she's going to go lead me to Obi-Wan, right? I don't want to just tell someone that I'm Anakin, but now I know because of her ambitions and what she's looking for and seeking, if she knows this, she's got one extra up on the rest of the Inquisitors. She'll go find Obi-Wan for me. And that's my only logical guess as to how this could have possibly happened. And if that's the reason, then I'm okay with her knowing why he's Anakin. But otherwise,
that's not a bad reasoning at all, Jace. We were talking about it yesterday. That's very viable, and I could see it happen. I'm still gonna stick to my guns and have a modified version of what I said, in that we don't necessarily know that she knows Vader is Anakin, because she doesn't mention it that way. She mentions it as if, oh, like Anakin is alive, but not that Vader told her. So my modified theory is that maybe Vader told her Anakin Skywalker is alive, but not that he's Anakin Skywalker.
Okay. So it almost similar to like when we first start hearing about it in Empire Strikes Back, and Palpatine has the conversation between Vader and Anakin is spoken about in this way as if he's a separate person, because at that point, whatever real world, at that point in the movies, we were still holding off on that big reveal. So yeah, I could see that being a thing, because we've seen it in Star Wars before, where they were a little loose with Anakin. Vader, is he alive? Is he dead? And the manner in which they speak about it.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually do like that a lot. I would totally be cool with that too, right? As far as
it
him
needs to be addressed, though, for sure, Jake. I do agree. It definitely we need a cool flashback. We need to fill in, even if it's something that doesn't satisfy everyone. We need some sort of a flashback or an explanation.
Absolutely,
on that one. It's a big moment for Obi-Wan. It really is. It's a huge moment. That's a big revelation. We were hoping to see it, and we got it. You're not happy with it, but we got it. So. Yeah, but so we do need a little more there, like how and why does she know all of this? Fair enough.
Yeah,
no, 100%. I'm, at least for the time being, I'm going to stick with that thought, no matter which one of the theories, or if it's something else is correct. I'm going to stick with that thought of the last thing we brought up there, of maybe it's just not that she doesn't know that Anakin's Vader. She just seemingly knows that Anakin's alive, believing maybe he's another person, and that's perfect bait for Obi-Wan, and that Vader's trying to take advantage of that. That would be more acceptable. But yeah, like Anthony was saying, need some clarification on there. Real quick, and we'll fly through these as far as, because I want to get to our next topic, of course. But oh my gosh, hold on. Sorry, I lost the part in the comments. Okay, now I'm back. All right, problem with real life Inquisitors, Shane is saying they never were going to live up to our expectations, but particularly, yes, they all seem to just be placeholders to advance Reva and Grand Inquisitor arc. At least, yeah, without spending a whole lot of time on it, it's just that's kind of how it's coming off as feeling, as opposed to like them being their own imposing force. Like, Anthony, I know you're bringing up as far as, hey, maybe they're toning them down a little bit to really show how dope Vader is. I feel like the way you show how dope Vader is don't tone the Inquisitors down. Like, keep Inquisitors evil as fuck, and then have Vader come in and be like, you don't know what evil is. Right? And really show them what's up. Because that's how it's always been. In the Rebel shows, in the Jedi Fallen Order game, I'll put it this way. The Fallen Order game is a great example of it that I will condense very quickly. The main antagonist of that game is an Inquisitor. Right?
Yeah.
She was basically, there is a Jedi that you kind of meet along the way, help out, and her apprentice is the Inquisitor that you are going up against for, again, like essentially the entire game. You believe that she's like the main last boss, and really is for all technicality's sake. But the point I'm saying this is that she's made to be like, holy fuck, dude, like you kind of feel like when she pops up, you're like, oh shit, damn, I got to be like worried about what I'm doing.
Yeah. And
then Vader comes in at the end of the game, and this is not an exaggeration, literally shaking in her fucking boots. Like, dude, she's quivering when he pops up. When you hear the breathing, she hasn't even seen him yet, and she's just like, and it's like understandable because it's Vader. And to me, again, that helped create it where now when Vader shows up, and when you see the people that have been fucking shit up scared out of their minds, you know what I mean? Now it really creates that presence. So anyway,
I get that.
And Shane, so I agree as far as what's being thrown out there. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. I'm going to jump down because there was some Rotten Tomatoes discussion going on here.
Oh
Also,
my
we got
god!
we got
What up, Dan? What up? What up?
What's going on, bro? Good to have you here. Let's see. And this, I think, was an answer to what we were talking about. Let's see. Lower Inquisitors apparently used a ranking system based on a combination of a number and a familiar term. Ranks were higher the smaller their number was, as demonstrated when the fifth brother I'm guessing this is... Oh. Pulled rank, on the seventh sister. So, okay. Looks like, yeah, the higher the rank...
The lower the number?
Yeah, I guess so. So then that must mean as the third sister that she's
higher than the fifth brother?
Right, but then the fifth brother, he's like all about like, no, this is my thing.
Yeah, like you're just a newbie.
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
Right. So that is kind of, I mean, I appreciate it, Shane, as far as with the answer there, and I'm glad there's some sort of thing to explain it. But yeah, that's kind of weird then as far as like why does fifth brother think he has more pull than her?
Do we think we're gonna see the second sister?
Jeez, they pull someone in now. It's a little late now. We're halfway. We're through the halfway point, right? So
Yeah, we are.
But if it's just another Inquisitor, I could definitely see that. And yeah, I wouldn't, because here's the thing, man. There's been people just completely speculating, of course, no actual rumors, no leaks, no nothing like that. But there's been people speculating that Cal Kestis is going to pop up.
Okay.
And I mean, heck, if there's any chance of him being there, then I don't see why it would be that far-fetched to see second sister as well. I think it's more realistic, actually, that we would see second sister than Cal, because we've already got the Inquisitors there.
Yep.
Also, even in Boba Fett, we saw some big characters come in toward the end of the show that weren't there at the beginning. So it's you're right. It's possible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, this is a quick little side thing, right? So, I mean, not a main topic to focus a lot on, but what did you guys think of Zach Braff's character? Apparently, Dan thought it was Seth Rogen at times.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't really care about him.
I mean, I'm all about like seeing the Vader and Obi-Wan dynamic.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get into the Easter eggs and all that kind of cool stuff. I love that. That's sort of like after the fact kind of stuff for me. Right now, I'm just all into the like what's gonna happen between Vader and Obi-Wan thing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm geeking out over.
Dude, what I'm geeking out over is the potential of seeing Liam Neeson.
Oh yes, I don't even. It's gonna happen, or at least his voice. So that's gonna be some nice closure too, because we've been waiting basically since the end of Revenge of the Sith to see that, and it was in a comic book. They did an adaptation of Revenge of the Sith, and they had that scene in, but then in the movie, obviously, it wasn't in there. I'm almost glad it wasn't in there now, because it's gonna be fun seeing it here, in some form, seeing Qui-Gon make his comeback, I should say.
Yeah.
Here in the
I actually, and so I mean, I could be wrong, but like they kind of addressed this in. I think it was either Clone Wars or Rebels, but I believe it was Clone Wars. But like, so Qui-Gon never reached the level of training to project himself as a Force ghost in the afterlife. He can only project his voice. It is in Clone Wars. He explains that to Yoda. So Qui-Gon helps Yoda to train to ascend what he did, right? Because he can, again, only audibly come back, but he was further helping Yoda so that he could, again, project himself physically as well. So if they're sticking with that, which I don't see why they would really change it, I think 100% we're going to hear Liam Neeson. I do not feel there is a chance that we're going to see him.
I get that, Chase. I go back to that one Clone Wars episode where Anakin does talk to Qui-Gon physically. Well, Force Ghost, Qui-Gon.
Wasn't there a thing on that? Wasn't there the debate on that, on whether or not that was just a vision? Or
yes,
my memory is fuzzy. So
no, you're right, Anthony. You're right. I was going to mention that because there's a debate that maybe it was a vision that Anakin was having. So it's not that was really happening, and the vision was causing the sight, though the audio was real of him talking. Because what it is that Anakin is talking to Qui-Gon as a Force ghost, as we know Force ghosts to be. And he's kind of just asking him like, oh, Master, I'm like so confused. What do I do? And Qui-Gon's kind of just encouraging him and saying like, you are the chosen one. You'll know what to do.
I'd be curious to go back and watch that scene and try to see if, like how Anthony, you were saying, if it was like actually... not really a Force ghost, because again, it seems very conflicting. Like, again, they really established that heavily when he was working with Yoda, that it's like, because I remember even Yoda like makes a comment like, can I see you or something, and he's just like, no. He's like, I never got that far. And it'd be interesting, I guess, to think, like, can he keep training in the afterlife to eventually
Those
make
rules are
himself
so fuzzy, right?
So
Yeah.
fuzzy. I mean,
Undefined. They're not defined that well.
yeah.
I hope we see him. But I'll be happy to just hear his voice, which I'm pretty sure we'll at least hear his voice. But I'm kind of hoping we see him. I think a blue sparkly Qui-Gon Jinn would be pretty cool to see.
Yo, it would more than having Qui-Gon talk to Obi-Wan, which is what we're leading up to, because he's been calling for Qui-Gon in every episode, and Qui-Gon doesn't come. So obviously he's gonna come to Obi-Wan at some point. I want to see Qui-Gon come to Darth Vader. I want to see that interaction.
I love that idea. Oh my god!
And just to cement and stamp, Anakin is dead.
Mhm.
To have Qui-Gon talk to him and try to, like, there's still good in you.
Yeah.
And Vader just like, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
And blocking him off.
I love that idea. I hope we get it. I do want to say one thing before I forget about it. I do hope that we see Obi-Wan trying to find the good in Anakin here, just to make that one line at the end of Return of the Jedi where Luke is talking to Darth Vader. And I believe the line is Vader says, Obi-Wan once thought as you do, in terms of there still being good in him. So I would really like to, just to connect things a little bit, I would really like to see Obi-Wan try to, find the good in Anakin.
Yes.
Maybe he'll still get blasted away, or maybe they'll still fight or whatever, but just have that happen to connect it up, to connect things a little bit better. Because a lot of people for years have been saying, hey, when they last fought in Revenge of the Sith, they're really, Padme seemed to still see good in him, and that was even like her dying words, right? But Obi-Wan, it felt like there was mostly just they tried to kill each other, and that was that. This show is a great opportunity to expand on that, and let's see Obi-Wan maybe try to convert, bring Vader back to the light side.
And 3 episodes in, Anthony, and he still does not see the good in him. The first thing he tells Vader is, "Look what you've become."
Yeah.
And Vader says, "Look what you made me."
Yeah, no, and I thought that was an epic, actually. So, like, yeah, what have you become? And he's like, I am what you made me.
Yeah.
Well, that'll fit with the line, like, he's more machine now than man.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just trying to tie this stuff to the original trilogy.
Yeah, no, dude. No,
this is our last chance. I mean, maybe we'll get a season 2, but we can help make these. I mean, I guess everything doesn't have to make perfect sense. Some stuff could be left open to interpretation. But I'm just saying, it's just a nerd thing in me. I would like to see that finally.
It's not even, Anthony. No, it's not even a nerd thing, Anthony. I do the same thing too. I don't think where we're at by the end of episode 3, Obi-Wan sees any good in Anakin, and I feel if there is a chance that Obi-Wan could change his mind or could start seeing some good, it's got to come through Qui-Gon.
Yeah, I would love that. I love that angle. Now I'm hoping I see it, and if I don't, I'm gonna be very mad. I'm gonna hit up Rotten Tomatoes.
I think actually that's a very good, like, logical guess as far as to where it's going. Because if you notice, the quotes that they're using from the prequels are always like, if there's anything from Qui-Gon, it's always him still saying, like, promise me you'll train the boy. He is the chosen one. Like, that type of stuff. Like those that trying to ingest some hope still, in the whole situation. So that would make sense of that. Obi-Wan's maybe still like, I don't see where this is going. He's lost. And then finally Qui-Gon speaks to him, and it gives him that little spark of, maybe I do still need to try and see some good in him, and then unfortunately just kind of fall flat on its face, because we all know what the story goes like, and Vader ain't turning nice until a while from now.
Yeah. I love that when the show started, like, it was almost like a previously on bit, and it was all clips from the prequel. That was a nice little callback, and it was almost like it was a very nice acknowledgement of the prequels, and hopefully it touched on the specific story points that will be relevant to this show. Like you said, all of the things that Qui-Gon that we see him saying. Hopefully, we do see it all come together. Because that's the point. That's the point of those bits. Whenever we see, like, previously on, in a previous episode, it's touching on what we're going to see in this next episode.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That's true. It always does give, like, a little bit of indirect foreshadowing there. Yeah. Now I want to we've already indirectly started going towards this, so I really want to touch on it, because I'm curious what you guys thought about as far as when this whole epic reunion finally takes place. All right, so we were just mentioning about the first things they say to each other, although it's definitely not the first part of the interaction. right? There is that initial like almost jump scare, if you will, on Obi-Wan's end when Vader first comes and confronts him and shit like that. And there is that very almost like I'm not saying it's a horror movie, but like a horror element in Star Wars, as far as, you know, Obi-Wan like being in that kind of darkened desert that has kind of a little bit of hills here and there, and just not knowing where Vader is. It was an interesting element. But how did you feel about how it all went through, though? Like, once it went down, were you satisfied as far as like how they were brought back together and how their battle took place? Because I definitely feel like way better about it than anything else. Though there is something about it that also, as sad as it is, and it's not me trying to kind of like only focus on maybe the negative aspects, but something about it felt just a little more flat than I wanted it to. But I want to hear as far as what you guys think. Anthony, what would you say?
When that, all right, so Vader's entrance to me was awesome. I loved all that stuff. He's killing people. He's tearing through the town. He's trying to draw out Obi-Wan, obviously, and Obi-Wan's hiding. And when Obi-Wan ultimately confronts him, there's a lot of back and forth and Obi-Wan running. Maybe this will play better for me when we on a rewatch, but it does feel like it takes a second to get where it's going. Like, these two are going to do a little bit, that there's going to be a little bit of a fight. Maybe there's suspense there, but yeah, I think I agree. It was a little flat, but just in the early part of it for me. Once they got into it, once we got some dialogue between the two of them, once they started fighting, and we got to the stuff with all the material with Obi-Wan being burned, all of that worked for me. I was super happy with all of that. And on one more nerdy night, one more nerdy side note, Vader sounded great in this. James Earl Jones sounded perfect.
Yeah. Right, because in Rogue One, it was kind of like,
old,
like
getting old.
Yeah. But yeah,
and if that's Hayden Christensen in the costume, I'm liking it. If that's him in the costume too, I'm assuming it is. I'm not sure if it's like the bodybuilder from Rogue One. I think they had someone else.
Well,
if it is Hayden Christensen, whoever's in the Vader suit, I'm trying to say is doing well for me. It's doing fine.
Yeah. The burnt body is definitely Hayden Christensen.
Yeah,
100%.
But I'm mostly happy with the Vader Obi-Wan confrontation.
No, for sure. Well, John, how about yourself? I mean, similar feelings, different feelings that also completely just work on all aspects for you, or?
I'm satisfied. I'm very satisfied, and I want to touch on this a little bit. Yesterday, throughout the entire day, Obi-Wan Episode 3 was hyped up to the nth degree. I was at work, just so excited to get home to see this episode that everybody was gushing about, saying it was the best thing Star Wars TV has done. And I'm like, man, what's going to happen? Is Ahsoka going to come in? Are we going to see Mando? Is
so you weren't
Grogu going to pop up?
You weren't spoiled, hope
no.
Somehow. Okay, good.
Nothing.
Good.
Not even pictures of like a landscape. Nothing. I did not see.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, like, what is it? Like, I'm sure Vader's gonna be a big part, so I'm already expecting Vader. And I watch it, and it's a good episode.
Okay.
And then it gets to the last 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, this is what everybody's overhyping. Okay, like it's good. Like this is exciting to see this interaction of Darth Vader and Obi-Wan after the Battle of Heroes on Mustafar. What a big deal. What a cool moment. But this did not forgive me of my sins. like many people are saying, like, this is going to save you, Jonathan. This is your salvation. It wasn't my salvation. But I so satisfied for what we got, especially with that. And aside from that gushing, I like the episode too. I love, and I'm sure we're going to touch on this, I have been loving more than Obi-Wan, little Leia.
She's adorable.
I'll leave it there because I want to talk about her a little bit more. I love little Leia.
No, yeah, for sure. Well, definitely as far as get into that. So I feel like that's her nickname just from this point, Lil Leia. Well, as far as for myself, to kind of clarify on where my, again, criticisms will come into play with their actual confrontation there is part of me was conflicted in the way Vader was acting at that time. Now, when you look at the way that they're actually fighting, it did make sense to me that it was not as choreographed as a fight, because you have Vader, who's probably still maybe acclimating to the whole robotic body still, although it's been 10 years, so maybe
It's
not.
been 10 years.
Yeah, he's probably actually, maybe I'll retract that part there. But nonetheless, I know that from his end, people like to say, well, he was toying with Obi-Wan. And with Obi-Wan, I could see where he wasn't as choreographed because it's been fucking 10 years since he picked up a lightsaber, right? So makes sense. However, what did not make sense to me was the complete lack of ruthlessness on Vader's end. You have Vader, who has been searching for Obi-Wan, right? Like, and it was made clear when Reva gave the update about that she might have found him and everything. And hey, the Grand Inquisitor, he's like, fuck the Grand Inquisitor. The only thing that matters is Kenobi. Okay? All right, that's fair enough. You're making it very clear how much you care. It's been 10 years. This is the dude that chopped you in half and left you to die. Okay? As far as you know, this is the guy that helped separate you and your wife from his perspective. That's how it was looked at and everything, right? You are leaving. You've now got a decent idea of where he is. You straight up leave your castle to go take care of this. You walk through a town ruthlessly murdering people, knowing he's probably watching you do that to try and draw him out. You finally get face to face with him, and then you do this. You toy with him like as far as a cat with its food before some shit. To me, the most epic moment was when he finally did pull down Obi-Wan and drag him in the flames and held him there. That was like, fuck yeah, where has this been the whole time? That to me worked. And then it's weird because it built up to this real nice moment, right? It was kind of back and forth, like, I'm still so happy this is happening, but I'm just surprised it's happening like this. Then you get that real epic, brutal moment. And then when he blows out the fire and you think like, oh shit, dude, they're about to get Obi-Wan, right? Girl comes to save the day. How is that really saving the day? She shoots the fire that he just blew out. Like, bro, why wouldn't he just blow the fire right back out again? That really made no sense to me. And then on top of that, he just stands there and watches. And I've heard many different things about this so far. Some people are like, well, dude, it's because of how utterly stricken by fear he is from the fire, right? And it brings back the whole memories of the fight in Mustafar. Bro, his fucking castle's on Mustafar.
Yeah, and he started the fire.
And he started the fire.
That doesn't work.
So that is a completely voided as far as excuse to me. And again, I just don't understand. I would have loved to see this. I was all prepared for this to happen, bro. It's canon that Vader's suit is fireproof, right? You can literally just toss him into flames and nothing will happen. I was expecting him to just like a badass walk right through the fucking fire, slice that droid down that was trying to take him, and him take him for himself. Like, fuck it. If the stormtroopers are not going to walk around the flames, I'll fucking do it and get this shit done myself.
At that moment, yeah, I don't know how to read that moment when the droid is helping to save him and Vader just seems to be standing there. I don't know where that's going, but I feel you about it. It's weird. It's like we can't bring this to a close because there's another 3 episodes left. Then don't put this fight here. If that's why. Like, yeah. Anyway, what I'm saying is I hear you. Yeah, those final moments. To be fair.
This is what I'll throw in is it's either kind of hold off the fight until a little bit later, or this is something where again I kind of go ahead and just blame the writing more than anything, because I do feel like it would have been possible to get some sort of like some cool character development for Obi-Wan and like an epic moment for Vader if you would have had something about have Vader have that kind of like upper hand, like when he was like, holding him in the flames, or maybe like how I brought up, he just walks through the fire and grabs Obi-Wan himself or something like that, or when he goes to, how Obi-Wan's been like battling and struggling with using the Force again. Let that be a moment that out of that panic and fear and adrenaline and everything, when Vader's coming to get him, that he finally just like and like pushes Vader back. And like, you know what I mean? And it's just enough of a fucking distraction for him to be able to skate away, So you're saying
like in terms of writing, there could we need Obi-Wan to get from point A to point B. Let's not just have Vader stand there and leave the audience
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Right.
let's use it to develop his character, or have the ground open. Just give us something that where they can't continue this fight, where Vader can't continue killing. Do something, but
Right.
I don't know,
Because
man,
that's
we'll see where it goes next week.
that's my biggest thing is, again, like how there was like a lack or missed opportunity as far as that character development. And then again, I was just like looking for, dude, how is Vader not at his most ruthless right now? He is just first seeing Obi-Wan again. Where is that kind of bitterness, right? That
Yeah.
turns into just savagery. So anyway, like I said, still epic. I wanted to clarify that after I said that whole rant there, I just wanted to kind of finish with, still was so fucking dope to see the two of them back together. It was awesome to have the lightsabers go at it in any capacity. But like I said, still was just kind of left with that thought alongside of the epic happiness. So yeah.
So you guys know about the whole debacle of how can Obi-Wan in 19 years be like 30 and then be like 80? Well, just by looks wise, because we don't know how old he is really. It just looks. There was a little part of me that thought that his hair was gonna turn gray in the fire. And that's how they were gonna start explaining his hair gray.
Oh my god.
His face melts. He turns into Alec.
Alec Guinness. Yeah, bro. I don't know why, but there was a little bit in me that thought, oh man, his hair's gonna singe white. And that's how they're gonna explain this. It's gonna be like the Palpatine effect. Like the reason Palpatine looks like that because he got the lightning reverberated on him. So Obi-Wan and fire, his hair turns white.
See, like poetry, it rhymes.
Yeah, no, exactly, Anthony, exactly. And just to poke a little bit more fun here, how do you hold a person down in fire for that long, and like it just kind of burns his arm?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point, because I know it wasn't like lava like Anakin got thrown into, but for crying out loud, like that was clearly, that stuff was highly combustible, right? Based on the lightsaber lighting it, igniting it very easily, and the shot from the girl blew the fuck up essentially. So yeah, it's kind of weird that he was just like, man, you made it out pretty, like your hair's still perfectly intact, like you're looking fresh, my man. Your robe is more burnt than anything else.
He's just looking like Professor Hulk with a burnt arm.
It's I mean, Boba Fett was in a Bacta tank. I don't know how long. Obi-Wan, it maybe just a few minutes, and he'll be good to go.
Oh no, the next 3 episodes of Obi-Wan are a flashback.
Yo, but actually, maybe. Oh my god! And I know they're not really gonna do this, okay? But like, imagine if they did, and then that was their excuse to start giving us the Clone Wars flashbacks.
Don't.
No, I don't want it, but I would be okay with Clone Wars flashbacks.
It's the worst thing.
Everybody wants Clone Wars flashbacks. Everybody wants to see Obi-Wan in that armor. We all hope for it. I hope they go. I hope they do it.
Yeah.
By the way, guys,
but
yeah, I just want to also say real quick for everyone watching, like I appreciate the hell, as far as I hope you've been enjoying this conversation quite a bunch, and I've been seeing a flurry as far as of good comments coming in, and I don't want it to make it seem as though we are disregarding anything. It's just there is a lot to say within a short amount of time about these 3 episodes with this conversation here, but we will still kind of get around. I'll poke around as far as to some of the most conversation provoking topics here. And that was just really funny, as far as Eric throwing in that he thinks that his hair should get gray just from babysitting Leia. But that's maybe a good transitional point for us to go ahead and talk from what was that, hey, no matter how many issues we may have had, still a really cool confrontation to see Vader and Obi-Wan together again. But then now stemming into, John, what you were wanting to bring up before, which I do actually really want to talk about as well, which is getting a fresh new take on such an established iconic character in the form of Lil Leia, which I feel bad I can't think of the actress's name, but my gosh, did they pick a charismatic little girl, and I think that she does a good job of where she's still very young, but you are willing to take her just serious enough for what's going on. And what I'm happy about is they of course have her acting like you would expect young Leia to act, right? That's actually where at first I was like, damn, she's annoying. But then I kind of think that's how Leia would act as a kid. So I was like, yeah, this is good. This is working. So they do a good job, though, of she is kind of that pretentious attitude, kind of in a way. And then almost like her smartsy-ish about her, right? She's like very intellectual. She can look into stuff and read situations very well. But they don't I don't think they don't really take it too far. Like anytime she's like a little like too arrogant about a situation, like something happens to kind of put her in check. And so I think that that's kind of nice, is that it's not going too overboard so far. And plus, the interactions between her and Ewan as Obi-Wan are phenomenal. I love seeing them together, man. And I love, excuse me, the little comments of the like throwbacks to where Obi-Wan's like, he mentions like, you remind me of someone. And damn well, like some people were saying that he's talking about Satine, which
it's Padme.
No, yeah, exactly. I was like, to be fair, I mean, don't be wrong. Yeah, Satine was really important to him, but like, what the fuck? You think he's talking about Satine? So
and it's even more just hammered down when he's in the back of that truck with the stormtroopers, and he has to make up that story about why they're on that planet, and he ends up talking about, we're here to visit some family, like her mother passed away, and he starts reminiscing on her quote unquote mother, and we all miss her and stuff like that. He's talking about Padme.
Yeah. But another thing I like between their conversations is that we're getting, for the first time, to my knowledge, a little more history on Obi-Wan, because he mentions having a brother.
Yeah,
that's new to me. Again, if it's been in comics or books or something, but it's new to me. And that's freaking awesome, because again, this is an Obi-Wan show, so we want the focus to be, on Obi-Wan ideally, So it's great to see him go into his past, and and it's funny. I don't even know that it's something we've ever considered. Obi-Wan's always been like a great character, but have we ever thought about where did he come from? He was a youngling at one point. We know he was trained by people, but we really don't have a lot on him. So it's really great. This is a perfect opportunity to get a little bit of that, get a little bit of that history. And I mean, the way he brought it up, the brother thing too, it almost made me wonder, like, are we going to support him? Well, maybe not for this show. I don't think he needs to go find his brother, but maybe there's a story there where Obi-Wan goes to look for his brother and reconnect. I have no idea. I'm nerding out a bit, but I think I only say it because why mention it? Why? I mean, unless maybe you're going to potentially go somewhere with it. But then again, Star Wars does sort of like crack open some doors, and then they're like, and maybe we'll come back to that.
We found out his brother is Palpatine's clone from The Rise of Skywalker. So technically, Obi-Wan Kenobi is Rey's uncle.
Hey, the people got that connection they wanted. They got to
there was something I heard that you made me think of this. So it wasn't that too long ago that someone was theorizing that this would be a much better and workable solution. So there's a lot of talks that like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are trying to not necessarily retcon the sequel trilogy, but that they're trying to make as much sense out of it as they can. And by using the shows that they're doing now to kind of lay the groundwork for that. And
if I can interject something super quickly, Jace, not to interrupt you. Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm, she said that Star Wars is no longer going to be functioning like through trilogies. How many franchises function through trilogies. And then we stop, we take a break, and then we do another trilogy. He says Star Wars is assisted storytelling.
Okay. So going forward, that's the
it's assisted storytelling. It's always been that, though, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, what would they even mean? Like, how would you define assisted storytelling?
How Clone Wars fills in gaps for character arcs, for storylines, how Rebels adds to the lore of Vader and Ahsoka and the Rebellion.
So is she implying that there's never going to be like any new content moving forward?
No, there's going to be new content moving forward. Taika Waititi has a Star Wars film that's slated for next year.
No, yeah, exactly. So that's the only reason
what she's saying is that we're not going to be relying on trilogies to move the story along. What we're going to be relying on is everything is going to assist each other. So like what you were saying, Jay, so I want to like kind of bring it back to you, because that's what your point was, how they're kind of going to make sense of the sequel trilogy. That's what they're going to do with everything now. So I agree. Yeah, they're going to use Bad Batch, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, whatever they can to start making sense of things, because Star Wars is now assisted storytelling.
For sure. No, and that's yeah, it's a fitting definition there. And yeah, hopefully this kind of, it is a perfect example tying into that right here. So this is, everybody that's listening, take this with a complete grain of salt. This is not to say that this is anything absolutely true in the slightest. It's just speculation at this point. But there is speculation that the plan is to make it so that Obi-Wan and Satine did have a kid, specifically a daughter, not Rey. That would not make any sense. There's no way the ages would match up. But this is where they're coming from. People are saying that, you know how Emperor Palpatine's son, even though it was a clone of his, but that was like his son, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter because it's his son's daughter, right? People are saying that Obi-Wan and Satine's daughter is the one that has a child with Palpatine's son, so that Rey is technically, by all intents and purposes, half Palpatine, half Kenobi.
Bro.
Yeah, no, your expression is what it fits what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah. Bro, let's move on. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there we go.
That sounds like a great idea, guys. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay? Star Wars is saved. Star Wars is saved, guys.
We've now shrunk that universe into just
now.
Here's
a diamond.
I will say this on a serious note. Look, if they were to go through with that, even though there is that, I had that reaction for a strong reason, okay? And that was not like exaggerating. But I would feel that I would not sit here and riot because of that, is maybe the best way to put it, right? I wouldn't sit here and be like, are you fucking kidding me? That's what they thought of. And actually, that's a little bit better than a lot of the stuff that I think they could try to shoehorn in.
Yeah.
Now, it just makes it that much more conflicting, though, because look, if she does that, or if they do that, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, so she's half Kenobi and half Palpatine, but calls herself a Skywalker. What the fuck is going on here? Like, is she just an amalgamation of all Star Wars families in one? Like, what is this?
And it doesn't matter because people would hate her anyway. So no, it's not.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly.
There are people who are just not. Now there are fans of her. I think that they're not as loud as the people who hate her. So that's all.
One, it's a shame, man, because Rey is actually, and this is going to sound kind of, Rey conceptually is a character I'm more than fine with. I don't have an issue with Rey. It's the way they've executed her story throughout the trilogy is what I feel is like just fell flat on its face. You had a really cool concept, and you just didn't treat it right. And it's because you kind of just improvised it, right? You just took it as you were going and just expected like, oh, it's fucking Star Wars. It's going to be fine. No, the reason Star Wars was fine was because they thought it through so much. And did they change stuff on the spot or for the sake of something else? Yeah, of course they did. But it was still a game plan that was at hand. There was still they knew what they were working towards. They knew what things were supposed to be. And so, when you're dealing with that compared to what has been publicly spoken about a decent amount, we've talked about this before. Daisy Ridley has mentioned in an interview that on the set of Rise of Skywalker, they filmed the scene of her revealing her origin multiple times because they still didn't have a decision on what they were going to do.
Crazy.
It actually makes me think, what were the other ways that they filmed it?
Yeah.
Right? When they revealed to her that she's a Palpatine, I wonder what were the other ones that they filmed? Because there's probably a couple. I bet there was one where they were saying she was a Skywalker. I bet there was one where they're saying she was a Kenobi. I bet there was one, and this is me looking too far into it, I bet there was even one where they were saying she was a descendant of Qui-Gon fucking Jinn, because in, in the Last Jedi, her hair is very reminiscent of Qui-Gon's, I feel like. So
it's kind of funny that there's basically sitting in a vault somewhere an alternate version of Rogue One, an alternate version of Solo, and apparently quite a few alternate versions of Rise of Skywalker. Oh my god, I'd love to see it though. I love, because when it comes to like original trilogy and the prequels, I love all the little deleted scenes and alternate things and alternate ideas. But it does seem like once it fell into Disney's hands, we shot an entire movie and then we're gonna shoot it again.
Yeah. Wait, which is like, you just made such an investment to purchase Star Wars, right? Like, how do you not treat it with more care than I don't know. I don't want to say anything else, but then a lot of other things. It's
Well, and even just to bring it back to Obi-Wan, the very show we're talking about, they stopped production. I mean, there were a lot of rewrites in this case too.
Yeah.
So it even happened again with the thing that we're talking about literally right now.
Yeah.
No,
No.
did it? You know, is it better or worse? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. What was the story originally? I mean, it was obviously different though because they.
It was darker. It was darker, and Kathleen Kennedy didn't want that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we got Lil Leia.
We got Lil Leia. Yeah.
I like Lil Leia.
Lola.
Not a
Lola.
do you guys think that we're gonna get a decent amount of Lil Luke?
Jeez.
Decent? No, I don't think so.
No. And I think that might be what that may be what's subverting people's expectations. Maybe we thought we'd get a little adventure with Luke and Obi-Wan, even though that wouldn't quite fit, would it?
Yeah, wouldn't know.
I don't know,
I don't
man.
think anybody was expecting Leia to be such a big part of it.
I'm-
I wasn't, but I'm happy.
I'm happy. I think
works.
it's the best choice in my opinion.
Yeah.
For Luke to have an adventure with Obi-Wan and then talk to Obi-Wan the way he does in episode
fair
4.
enough.
It's kind of been like he probably has had some interactions with Obi-Wan or Ben.
Yeah.
So I could expect some encounters with him, a short one, but not a whole like 6-hour adventure like little Leia's having.
Yeah.
No,
Now,
yeah,
it's gonna work too because she has this little, she has this interaction with Obi-Wan, and then in the future she ends up naming her son Ben. So, maybe because of this, there's a little bond that's formed here.
Wow, assisted storytelling, dude. Yeah, I didn't even think about it that way, but assisted storytelling. Yeah, she names her son Ben. Yeah, they have experience together. Even looking back at A New Hope, when she goes to Obi-Wan for help because she knows that you helped me once, you can help me again.
I mean, that was one thing. That was one thing in the sequels that actually felt a little bit weird to me. I could see Luke naming his son Ben. He probably did in Legends. I'm not sure.
In Legends it's Ben Skywalker. Yeah.
Whereas it felt like the connection wasn't quite strong enough between Leia and Obi-Wan for her to name her son.
But now it does.
Now it does. Yeah, with this one show exactly. So good on that. I mean, already it helps at the very least.
Assisted storytelling.
Assisted storytelling.
In the
Theme of the night.
okay, so in the Legend stories, because there's more than one kid, but yeah, there's Ben Skywalker. But then as far as Han Solo and Leia's kids, they have twins. So there's Jason Solo, which interestingly enough, it's spelled just like my name with an N at the end. And then there's Jaina Solo, which is there's the twins, and then they actually have another kid named that they name Anakin.
Okay.
Yep.
So in Legends, there's Anakin Solo. But yeah, at least it's something that that would be pretty cool and sensible. And yeah, when I brought up as far as Lil Luke, I definitely did not think, unless the show was more episodes, then I would maybe feel this way. But I don't think that we're going to see like an extended adventure with him. But when I meant as far as like get a bit of him, I 100% think we're going to see some form of an interaction. Again, we clearly established like he's aware of Ben. Like he knows who he is. He knows like, oh yeah, go see old Ben or whatever the case is. So like, I don't think it's going to be a lot, right? I don't think he's going to like go out somewhere with him and do some, but I think we are at least going to have the chance to see like some sort of an abbreviated conversation between the two.
Yeah.
And
Did you guys
a little toy too?
Yes, I was gonna say that.
I'm sorry, did I?
No, you're good. You're good.
That's all I wanted to say. Was the toy? I like to put the toy with it.
Yeah, you guys notice it's the same toy that Luke is playing with in A New Hope.
Yeah.
When he's kind of just like in his room, flying it around like this.
No, that's awesome.
Which is a little weird because he's like 20, but what? No.
19. He's 19.
I'm like over 40. I'm still playing with toys.
Well, plus that's like maybe his only toy.
Yeah, for the kids, you got to test them out first.
Yeah.
True. That's true. You got to make sure that they're appropriate, right? It could be hazardous. There could be small parts you choke on or some shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see. As far as with the show itself and everything, I kind of wanted to go ahead and maybe as far as like one of the last things that we could throw into the mix, and then maybe I'll read some comments to kind of close things out. Of course, unless there's other stuff you guys want to throw in particularly. But I was kind of curious, maybe of course, where we think that things could be kind of heading to? Like, not like, how do you think the show's going to end? But maybe where do you think things are going to develop and kind of take us? And like we've already started to talk about, maybe, we see a very heavily established relationship between Obi-Wan and Leia, as to why it makes a lot more sense that she calls upon his help in Rogue One, or not in Rogue One, I'm sorry, in A New Hope, and then also names her kid after him and stuff like that. So anything else as far as that you guys think that we might get out of this show, or where it's just going to go and what we see inside of the show?
Good question, man. I don't have an answer for you. I have some obvious things. Like I see a showdown between Obi-Wan and Riva.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that duel from Vader and Obi-Wan. And I think Leia gets home, and I don't think Leia's gonna stick for everything, because where's Leia? Well, I mean, she could. I don't know. See, I really don't know. I don't know where we're gonna go from here. And
Well,
I like that.
No, absolutely, right? It's kind of tough to tell. I agree. It's not like some of the Marvel stuff we talk about a lot, where it's kind of like I have like a strong theory of what things might turn into and all that. With this, I can maybe narrow it down. I'll get like very specific here. Do you think, and I'll make this a two-part question, do you think that Reva will become the next Grand Inquisitor? But do you also think that she will die in the show?
100%.
So which one? Both?
Dies. Yeah.
Well, Anthony, do you
100.
think that she also, is it like yes to both, like where John's kind of seeming to lead?
I'm sorry. What was the first part of your question? Was
do you think she'll be the next Grand Inquisitor?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
no,
I don't see them fitting that in. I mean, maybe if there's a season 2 or something, like it was my understanding that this was just gonna be one season. Then again, they could always continue this story somewhere else. We saw that in Solo, right? Like there were just some storylines that are left hanging, and we'll see if they ever get resolved. So yeah, if they go that route with making her the Grand Inquisitor, we just need to see it finished somewhere. We need to, because I don't think 3 episodes is enough to finish a storyline like that, because we know that ultimately the actual Grand Inquisitor is still alive. We're going to see him at Rebels. So what happens with that? I don't know. It's so much is up in the air, and that's interesting because we know ultimately, the end of all of these characters, from Rogue One and A New Hope and the original trilogy. So it's nice that at this point things are a little bit unpredictable. Like where we are right now at the halfway point, things are kind of unpredictable. Like we all have ideas about where things are going. Like Qui-Gon, maybe at least one more duel, blah blah blah. But that's sort of like a checklist of things, right? That we sort of have to see, or sort of just fan wishes. But I'm not too sure where things are headed. I'd like to see that Obi-Wan ends up in a better place, because he's in a bad place right now. So I want to see his story arc go from being sort of like almost like Luke in Last Jedi. I want to see him become a little closer to how we see him in A New Hope.
More at peace.
Thank you, and at peace.
I'm going to ask you guys this, because I've talked with Jace many times about this. This is the trajectory that I see the Disney Plus Star Wars shows going. What is the possibility of a Thrawn cameo?
In this timeline. Yeah, I guess that makes sense for this timeline, that he could be here.
Yeah, 100%.
And what I mean by trajectory is that I really think that we're building up to a larger story, an Avengers type story, where it's another meeting of Thrawn. Ahsoka is going to be a really big gathering. People that saw the trailer at the Star Wars Celebration, these live action Hera, live action Sabine, Chopper, and Ezra. Like, we're building up some sort of Thrawn story. I know Jay.
Heir to the Empire, bro. Heir to the Empire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was one of my first videos I ever made. I was like, are we about to see a live action Heir to the Empire? Little did I know, all these years later, I'm like, damn, maybe I was onto something there.
Or at least a variation on it, right? I think that's probably the best way to go too, because you're not, you don't want to be completely stuck to everything that came before. You want to be a little bit flexible with it. So yeah. I'm all up for like modern interpretations of Heir to the Empire. All of these legend stories.
So if we really think that Thrawn is going to be the Thanos of this Disney Plus trajectory, How about introducing him when he was a little bit younger here? So when we see him later on in the future, we're like, oh, that's the guy from Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, I love that
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
I think that'd be great, man. And I think it'd be something that you could probably just like introduce him here. Like, we don't need to give us too much. You could just kind of like show us that Thrawn is a
Yeah.
thing. Maybe have at least like a a scene or so to kind of show the presence that he carries.
Yeah.
And leave it as far as, so yeah, we've got something to like really salivate over until we see how stuff leads up to him even more in the Ahsoka show and everything. That would definitely be cool. I'd be down for that, and it makes a lot of sense. And I agree, John. They've seemingly been for a while now been trying to build up towards something. I know there was the, what is it, Rangers of the Republic, that show that was going to take place that seems to just be in the shitter now. But that was going to be part of one of the shows of like this team up of characters and everything like that. And I love it. I think that that's a cool idea. It doesn't seem unrealistic in any shape or form, because damn well this isn't like Marvel where every now and then you have to question if people are in the same world. You know for a fact that they're all in the same universe. It's Star Wars is Star Wars. So that would definitely be fitting. I feel bad. I'm going to jump backwards ever so slightly just because I was going to chime in and mention it about the whole like Reva thing. I agree that I don't think she's going to be the next Grand Inquisitor. As a matter of fact, I have a feeling or funny hunch that she is either going to die at the actual Grand Inquisitor's hand
Yeah.
or Vader's. Like, I
Grand Inquisitor. It's got to be Grand Inquisitor because, man, you went out like a bitch.
yeah.
They've
I
set
would
up
be
that
more-
conflict too already. So
Oh, yeah.
Vader. I mean, we've seen Vader choke out enough, Imperial commanders and all that stuff. We don't necessarily need to see him cut down Reva as well, but
No, but he did,
whereas at least they've built up that conflict a little bit between the Inquisitors right now.
right, and because of that, it would not be, I think, as rewarding, if you will, to see Vader. Although I'd love to just see Vader chop anyone down. And at the same, and I mean, in Fallen Order, that's kind of what happens. Like, Vader's the one, he steps in, he kills the Inquisitor that you've been like running away from the entire game and shit, and it's just like, oh, whoa, what? So,
Dude,
I don't know if they want to just.
I'm already
duplicate
thinking in
that.
my head, Reva fails. Obviously, I think that's where we're gonna go. We're heading down a road where Reva fails, and there's gonna be a moment where Vader has her on her knees, and he's, "You failed me," and he was telling her that you won't live to regret it, is what he said. And she's getting ready. She's getting ready for that blow by Vader, and behind Vader walks out the Grand Inquisitor. And he's the one to chop her down.
Yeah, you read my mind. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That'd be fucking phenomenal.
Do you guys think there's any possibility of them doing like a redemption angle with her? I mean, she could still be cut down, and she can still be cut down by Vader or the Inquisitor, which might make it tragic. Like, let's say she flips and she turns toward the light side.
Maybe.
Or are we just sick of seeing that? Is that another repeat?
I'm not sick of seeing it because that is Star Wars, at the heart of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm also like, it's not so much that I'm sick of that concept. I just don't feel like, I already feel like almost everything she's doing just doesn't kind of feel deserved in a way. And so like,
Yo, come on, look at Vader.
Wait, what?
Like Vader, what about everything Vader does, and then in Return of the Jedi, we're supposed to forgive him?
No, well, I guess, yeah, no, exactly, right? That's kind of where I'm getting here. Is like, dude, she's like kind of like, corrupt as shit and everything, and if all of a sudden it was just like, no, I've actually seen my ways. Like, Vader, we've gotten a chance to know.
Give me those lines exactly.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I don't know. I just, like, Vader, we know more, and I feel like because of that, you can kind of like, you just still see Anakin, right? You're desperate as a fan to see Anakin in him still. And with her, we don't know Reva before she was the third sister. And I am going to be honest with you, like, I don't really feel the desire to. I'm not looking for like a Reva show after this, so I can really give a shit about why she had the evil turn. And but at this, I would not exactly be keen on seeing her like take a redemption arc towards the end. And people were saying that, people were bringing up that like they're speculating that the end of the show is going to be, instead of Vader potentially getting the upper hand on Obi-Wan, it's going to be Reva that has the chance to actually end Obi-Wan, and she's the one that lets him go and everything. So like, you know, you can thank the existence of Obi-Wan in the entire original trilogy because of Reva. And it's just like, oh gosh, please don't start leaning towards some shit like that.
No thanks.
And it's just, it's not like she can't play an important role, but it's like, yo, just tone it down a bit. Like, just keep things in check a little. Like, what is this desire and need to just interject someone entirely new and be like, look at the huge role that they play in this part? She's like, okay, I know, take it easy, but don't forget this is an Obi-Wan show, and you've been hyping the fuck about Hayden Christensen's coming back, so can we maybe just get more of that, please? Yeah. I'd rather see literally 6 straight fucking hours of Obi-Wan and Anakin in a room than I would rather see of what they are doing so much with everything else. And I say that lightly, though, because obviously I get it. You got to create a storyline for some other characters, otherwise it'd be even worse that they're there. But yeah, so anyway, I think she's going to die. Like how, John, you were saying, I think that was hit the nail on the head. I am totally within that ballpark there of, I truly believe she's going to fail. It's going to be somewhere she's in front of Vader, just like you brought up. And just as you think he's going to be the one to take her out, Grand Inquisitor comes back from out of fucking nowhere, because nobody really dies in anything anymore. Except in real life.
He has that work done. He has that techno work done from Boba Fett. Remember?
No, dude, it's gonna be him, and he pops out with the dude from Boba Fett with the dreads and the fucking. Oh my god!
Oh my!
Oh jeez! And then he's just gonna turn to Vader, and he's be like, "You need a tune-up."
Later.
My voice box has been acting up lately. Sometimes I sound older.
Oh my god, that would be priceless.
That's amazing. This is amazing.
Holy shit. Holy shit. All right, well, let's see. If it's cool with you guys, I'll go ahead. I'll fly through some comments here, and we'll let that kind of close things out as we get a little bit of this conversation going. Let's see. I'm trying to dive back to, I saw there was some decent stuff coming in earlier.
I love your background, by the way, John.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I can't be in my room anymore because of the baby, so I'm in the living room now. So I didn't want people to just see my couch.
No, if I go left or right, there's toys. So
oh man.
Let's see. Shane was throwing out earlier that Reva was written like Rey was, way too overpowered with no idea as to why. It is lazy writing from Disney, which I do think that, like I was saying before, as far as my bigger issue just being with the writing more than anything else, not her like depiction. I don't think she's choosing to depict the character that way. I think that's what her character was written like, and she's just playing the part. So yeah, I do think it's just the writing could be stronger for Reva. And Schofield coming in saying, my only problem with Reva is the name confusion. It's rather Reva or Revua.
Sound like a horn.
Well, I guess yeah, it could be that. But have you ever heard Al Pacino when he says whore? He says hooah, hooah. That's whenever I see. Yeah, I just think of Al Pacino.
If you impersonate Al Pacino, it's mandatory to do hooah.
Dan was throwing in that he does like the character of Reva. He just also he agrees that he thinks that the writing that could be better and everything like that. Schofield was thrown in for our next subject we were bringing up after. He doesn't have a problem with I believe saying her knowing Vader is Anakin, as far as Reva knowing Vader is Anakin, because Vader is separate from Anakin, according to Kenobi. Anakin died to Darth Vader, which is kind of what we were touching on earlier, right? Possibly he just threw it out, implying that they're different people, because how is she supposed to know any better? Which totally makes sense. And he continued this to throw in and say that also if Vader is willing to tell his kid he is Anakin in the middle of a fight scene, why wouldn't he tell Reva? He is reckless like that in this show, like when he let Kenobi go. Which is a valid point, but the only counter I would say to this is just there's a difference between him telling his own child who he is and a fucking Inquisitor that, let's be honest, he could not care less about.
Yeah, and he doesn't tell I am Anakin Skywalker. No, he says I am your father.
Mm-hmm.
Your father.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Even though like it's implied and he knows that
Absolutely,
it's
yeah, it's
but
semantics. Yeah, I get it's semantics, but
still, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Let's see. It looks like Eric has gotten a chance to play Fallen Order. Real quick, have you guys played Fallen Order?
No, I have to get it, man. So, John,
dude,
you
yeah.
played it.
Oh, dude, I passed it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Did you
I'm
see
still
the
into the Lego Star Wars game myself, though, right now. Still working on it.
No, I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, John, you got to get. Oh man, that'll be a good one, right? You won't even have to feel guilty if you play it in front of the kid because you're just like, it's a Lego game, right? Like
It's a Lego game.
yeah, like they're probably watching it like it's a cartoon right now, like right? She'll love it. She'll absolutely love it. And did you guys see, just out of curiosity, the trailer for the new one, Jedi Survivor?
Yes, I did. With the Grand Inquisitor.
Oh god, I have to check it out. That sounds cool.
Okay, and then it's weird because it's like, it's amazing how different the designs are across the board because he does look like him, but then he also looks like different.
He looks like the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels.
It was closer to that. All right. Well, that's my
it's-
preferred version. I think that's everybody's preferred version.
Yeah. It's much closer to that, but he also looks like there is in Revenge of the Sith, there is an alien that is the same species as the Grand Inquisitor, and he looks like insanely good. But what's weird is he still looks, of course, different. He looks different from the Grand Inquisitor. So this in the trailer, like they made it look like that guy, like the dude from Revenge of the Sith. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what I mean. It's like it's you could tell, okay, cool, that must be Grand Inquisitor, but why does he look like? Why are they consistently trying to make it different? Like I get it's got to be difficult, but here's the thing. This is not like, again, Marvel or DC where, hey, let's make our own spin on the Batman costume or let's make our own version of Hulk in a different design. This is supposed to be, the same fucking thing. So could you just make him look the fucking same? Is that so much to ask for?
Yeah,
I mean, we're CGI. You know, if we put in young Luke, they're not even recasting. We're going through the trouble of making a young CGI Carrie Fisher, Luke Skywalker. We've seen Tarkin. And yet here we have an alien where it's just a matter of tweaking the makeup, and they're not being consistent, and it's driving us nuts because we're Star Wars fans, and we love the consistency, especially in the case of the Grand Inquisitor, where that Rebels design is awesome. It's a really strong design. Again, I'm fine with where they ended up with it. It's good enough, or I'm indifferent toward it. It's grown on me. It's fine.
You want to know what saved it?
I like the luminescent yellow eyes that they gave them.
Yeah.
No, that's what saved it for me, John. That's exactly what I was going to say, is because in the pictures that they released leading up to the show coming out, he didn't have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that had to be added in post-production because like that was one of people's biggest issues. And honestly, I felt like for me, I was like, damn, dude, if they at least gave him yellow eyes, like it would be a little bit more on point. So when I saw on the show that he had, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Right,
like, you know, I could be more forgiving of it, of course.
He looks a lot more sinister.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And that's what you need from them. You need them to look and come off as of that imposing, intimidating nature. Schofield was thrown in after I guess this is like a theory here. So after Kenobi loses and is captured by the Inquisitors, Liam Neeson shows up and convinces him to escape. Then in the final fight, Vader says, "You have come to die with the Jedi." And apparently then Kenobi would say, "No, I've come to stop you." Which, oh, wait. And it looks like he keeps it going here. I'm sorry, I was really curious.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, this is like a full theory here. Yeah, and then it turns out that the general who saved Obi-Wan earlier is actually the main villain and stabs Obi-Wan in the back and then plans to blow up Tatooine with a bomb.
Yes.
Not where I thought it was going, and I love it.
10 out of 10. Would read again.
Talk about subverting expectations in an intense way. That would be that would definitely be interesting to say the least. Was he thrown in later as well? So I feel like Vader has gotten more brutal with each movie. He kills Kenobi in A New Hope, cuts off Luke's arm in The Empire Strikes Back, tries to kill Luke in Return of the Jedi before he eventually becomes a cuddly old mechanic teddy bear for his son to say goodbye to as he turns to the light once more. But it does seem like that.
Yeah, when you look at the timeline like that, there's a consistency there, I'd say, yeah. But I mean, he starts off killing younglings. That's pretty freaking far. You know?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say he does. He does kind of point that. Yeah.
Either. To be fair,
Massacres people in Episode 2, kills children in Revenge of the Sith, destroys rebels in the hallway in Rogue One, tries to kill his old Padawan and rebels, and is now going to massacre a town.
And let's not forget, he blew up an entire battle droid ship in Phantom Menace.
Oh,
That's right.
Started
That's
young.
right. And so, yeah, man, he's just a complete. He's like Daenerys Targaryen, but a guy, and Skywalker and in Star Wars, basically, man. And I'll tell you what, that part where Vader was walking through the town when he first shows up on the planet, and dude, when he like drags the person out of their house and then sees the other person and then just and snaps their neck, which that to me, I don't know about you guys, but I was like, whoa, dude, did they just show that?
Yeah.
Hey, do you think it topped the Rogue One scene for you?
No. Oh God, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this was great. It was a nice entrance. But no, that scene is like on another fucking level, man.
Man, I'll be the person to say I love the Rogue One scene, but I think what Darth Maul did at the end of Clone Wars was more badass than what Vader did in Rogue One, because Vader went through a bunch of rebels, and Darth Maul went against the 501.
Ooh, that's a good point, man. It's a good point. Do you think that so then both of those top Luke in the hallway with the Dark Troopers?
Oh no, that was amazing. That one was the best.
Jeez, we could do a whole stream on like, favorite moments in Star Wars or something like that.
Yeah.
It would be hard to pick. Even movies or TV shows that we're not big fans of have awesome moments, which just goes to show how much we love Star Wars.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
The one. And it's funny because I don't mean to divert it away from Star Wars, so I'll make this very quick. I just want to hear what, right, John, since you were bringing up about the assisted storytelling and you were able to let us know like what that is defined as and everything. I'm curious as far as what your thoughts would be on this, because I think this falls into the right category. Dan was asking, so is the MCU assisted storytelling?
Is the MCU?
It seems like it.
No, here's why I don't think so, Dan. Because the MCU is planned out in advance, like years upon years, maybe even a decade in advance. They got everything planned out. As for Star Wars, it's assisted in the fact, like, for example, here's an example, and I want to see what you guys seen the Bad Batch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll touch on that in a second. Rise of Skywalker. Get introduced to the possibility literally there are clones of Palpatine. There are clones of Palpatine. How? What the heck? This just seems like a bunch of bad writing, because literally it was just somehow Palpatine returned. It was bad writing, guys. But now there's assisted storytelling. Bad Batch comes out last year, correct? There is a part toward the end of Bad Batch, the very last episode, where one of the Kaminoans, Limo Su, she gets taken to an Imperial facility where they says, "Oh, I can't wait to work with you." All she knows is clone technology.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they're gonna try and tie up and fix up Rise of Skywalker's cloning writing by saying that the Kaminoan helped out with that program since the foundation of the Empire. So
well, even into Mandalorian, we got a
further-
little hint of a clone too, right? So
Yeah, no. I was just going to say, to further your point, they've already started the same. They have 100% tackled that in Mandalorian. Like the guy who is working with Grogu, whatever, he's wearing a Kaminoan suit, like, and everything. So, like, cloning has definitely been a thing, and I'm glad they're bringing that in, because that was in Legends for a while. So I'm glad they're actually like kind of explaining it more and bringing it in here, because exactly, like you can't just fucking say, hey, guess what, there's been clones of them.
So to better answer you, Dan, the MCU would have actually planned that out. It's not assisted storytelling, it is just their storytelling. That's what they have planned. Star Wars does not have that plan.
Is assisted storytelling like filling in the gaps of what was not previously there?
It seems to be more of that, yeah.
Okay,
Even in the comics, Darth Vader visits Exegol, I believe. So we're trying to plant those seeds in the comic books and stuff about, hey, Exegol was always here; it wasn't just created. Which I'm fine with. I mean, I guess ultimately, I'm like, when it comes to this stuff, if it helps, if you're a sequel fan, if you're not a sequel fan, I mean, I guess it's just one of those things you could take it or leave it, right? I mean, for a lot of people who weren't prequel fans, the Clone Wars helped, right? I mean, it helped me, the Clone Wars, to get more, a bit more into the prequels and appreciate those characters in that universe that George Lucas built up. So I'm happy with them at least giving it a shot, with some assisted storytelling and helping the sequels.
I guess it's just.
I love that that Star Wars is like this though, because how many times do we watch something, for example, in the MCU, and they do it, and it's not our taste personally, and we're like, oh man, I wish they did it this way, but I guess they know what they're doing. But since Star Wars, for example, they F up, and we're like, oh man, I guess that's it. No, Star Wars be like, no. In 5 years, we're gonna have a 6-episode series that's gonna explain that mess up, and it's actually gonna make it better.
Yeah.
Star Wars, it's just like
it's funny. You're right. It's true, and they do it without even necessarily hitting the reset button. They're not really hitting the reset button. They're just adding on. It's just
exactly. There is no mistake. There is no mistakes in Star Wars because eventually they will be corrected.
We'll fix it in post. Yeah.
But you know what I mean, right?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, and
it's an interesting idea that a writer can come along 5 years from now and make us feel, maybe better about a certain storyline. I mean, for the whole bit with Rogue One and that helped a lot of people with the Death Star thing, right? Where a lot of people had an issue.
For a stupid, that's an easy hole.
Some
they
people
made a movie.
I love that bit, but yeah.
I do. Well, and it's funny because I guess when you try to think of it, like I cannot think of an MCU storyline that they have created to try and fix something from the past. But it's weird because I guess of course I'm only saying this without knowing the full definition of still kind of just literally right now learning what assisted storytelling is. It's weird because it feels like this would fit, like the MCU would fit into that. When I guess it's because you introduced the concept as not relying on trilogies of movies to progress the story, and it's like, well, fuck, Marvel's barely ever done that. You know what I mean? There's they've had trilogies, but they've never really relied hey, this trilogy is what is the thing that moved it all forward or everything like that. So nonetheless, at least that kind of makes sense and clarifies and everything. So moving on. Shane was throwing out, I think Reva will die, and her story as end her story as there is already too many loopholes surrounding Grand Inquisitor, and if she goes Jedi, why do we not hear from her ever again? So I guess the quick thing to say is, because even if we did think that there were to be any sort of redemption, which we'd fucking, I don't know, I'd hate it, but that would be why we never hear from her again, because she straight up is going to kick the can by the end of the series, I would guess.
I agree.
Schofield was saying Reva isn't a character I care to see out of this show, so I wouldn't mind if she dies. Same thing. I think actually, you know what? People will appreciate her more as a character if she simply is around and serves her purpose for this show, and that's that, right? And just kind of leave it alone. Not every single fucking character needs an extended series about them individually and everything going around, right? So yeah, I'd be cool.
And her here, and then I wouldn't mind seeing her in an animated show, or not as a main player, just as in the background, the Inquisitors show up again in a video game or in another animated show they may have down the road, and we see Reva, and we're like, oh, it's that.
Cool. No, that would be pretty cool. I'd be kind of down for that. I mean, who knows? In the Jedi series games. And Jedi Survivor, Jedi, you know what I mean? And if there's another game from there, you never know, there might be a place for her to pop up and everything. And honestly, even if they did okay, so hear me out, because Bad Batch is taking place, right? Right after Order 66 and everything. And this is tying into another thing Schofield was throwing in. Do you think Reva is one of the kids who was in that opening scene?
Oh, yeah.
It would make sense why she is a Jedi. And I feel dude, they could even touch on this, within the Bad Batch show, if they really wanted to. We could see a younger Reva as far as first kind of rebelling, you know what I mean, still being force sensitive, but starting to not be feeling as safe and relying upon the Jedi as she did before, and starting to fall into the hands of the Empire, which is funny because here I am justifying an origin for her when I said I don't need a fucking show of her. But if it was just a side storyline within Bad Batch, then I wouldn't be entirely against it, I guess.
Yeah. Have you seen the trailer for season 2 yet?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm hyped. I'm looking
Yeah, I
forward
know.
to it.
I know. It's coming out in a couple months. That's crazy.
I know,
Nice.
man. Yeah, I did not think it was gonna be that soon. And plus, you see, I didn't notice it right away. It wasn't until someone pointed it out. But you see how the Commander Cody is in there,
Yes, I know. He's gonna be a big player in the series.
dude. And it makes me think that like, and I know that Ewan McGregor is not within the animated stuff, but dude, I feel like they're trying to make Obi-Wan like the fucking Iron Man of Star Wars right now. I'm
Seems like
serious.
it.
Because dude, this doesn't really feel as though, hey, we brought back Ewan for this Obi-Wan series. Here's a nice little farewell, right? Wasn't it cool to see him back? Dude, I think this is like kind of just the beginning of a new dawn of stuff for him. I think like we
Yeah,
should
yeah.
easily be anticipating Obi-Wan to pop up in Andor. I think that as far as shows continuing, like I would not be surprised if we see him to some capacity as far as like with, well, I don't know. I was going to try and guess like other shows, but I could rattle off basically anything going on with Star Wars right now is what I'm trying to say is you could expect him popping up almost anywhere to some capacity. It doesn't mean he will be in everything, but it really seems like they're kind of like riding on that. There was I think Entertainment Weekly, like a photo shoot where they brought him, Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, and then Andor as far as, oh my
Diego
God.
Luna.
Thank you so much. I remember Diego, and I was like, what the hell's his last name? So Diego Luna was there, which at first was really cool because I thought that was a Photoshop picture. It didn't look like from the magazine picture like they were really there. So that was dope that they were all really there in the same place. And I don't know, man, just something about it seemed like they were just really hyping all this stuff up. And then there's a few other things that have been out where it just really is kind of dropping this heavy hint that like you're about to see a lot more of these people.
Yeah. No. It had like an Infinity War sort of feel to it with all the heroes together and like, hey, we're building to something larger, even if it's not, necessarily all of these characters together. I mean, I guess it can't quite be because Obi-Wan doesn't quite fit into the storyline fully. Post Mandalorian, in the Mandalorian timeline, but yeah, it does feel like they're building towards something large and something big.
Mm-hmm. Sean was saying, how does it that John looks so at home next to C-3PO and R2-D2?
Man, it's the Star Wars, man. It's my life.
He's not the only one that thinks away. He just fits in very well with the background. Yeah. Also, Schofield's saying that, John, you should play a Star Wars character in Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
Dude, I like The Last Jedi, so yes, please. Yes.
But do you really want Rian Johnson to be making a whole trilogy, though?
Maybe. I mean, he's doing Knives Out. Let's see how the second one goes.
It'll be on Netflix, I think, right? That was a big deal, right?
Well, and it's weird because, like, I definitely don't mean to shit on him as a filmmaker entirely because I agree. I think Knives Out is good, and I'm sure there's probably other things that he's made that are decent, I would guess. I don't know. But it's just, it was strictly just his Star Wars movie. That was the only thing, right? Everything else could be fine, but the way he did what he did, it was like, I get it, dude. You're trying to make some big statement, but it's, why did you have to do that, though, at the sacrifice of everything else? Like, my biggest thing, honest to God, man, my biggest issue of what he did as a creative piece of that puzzle is the decision of what they did with Luke Skywalker. So whether it was him entirely that decided to do that or not, I have no idea, but I fucking despise what how they turned Luke. The fact that he went from the most optimistic, positive inducing character throughout the galaxy to all of a sudden a fucking decrepit old hermit that is like, no, fuck off, the Jedi are dead. And it was like, what? Why? Because he had a school of kids, and then he accidentally went to kill his nephew one day and then regretted it, and now all of a sudden everything is fucked to the point where he's got to leave and exile himself. Come on, man.
But I always try to go back to, like, if we try to look at this literally and even more logically, man, people got to go to therapy for hitting their toe on the wall. Can you imagine, like, your whole school of kids you trained got killed? Like, I turned into a hermit too, man.
I don't believe with the way he was that it would turn him so heavily to the other side. I cannot sit here and be convinced that, like, no, dude, you're right. That is, shoot, I don't know how he could ever rebound from that. I understand that would be a devastating thing. However, I don't feel that's like, so your answer or your response to that is, I'm just going to fuck off over here for the rest of my life. You're not going to go that dude that you basically just made a villain. You're not going to go try and stop him to redeem yourself because you fucking know better.
Jace,
It's not believable.
Jace, your opinion is wrong. I'm just kidding.
Actually,
Shut up. That involves story development.
no. Assisted storytelling is gonna make everything all better. Actually, and then you can just cancel that rant that you did right there.
Oh,
that's true. Yeah.
I think trauma can affect people in different ways. That's why I don't like the way it went with Luke necessarily in The Last Jedi either. But as far as like, do I buy it? I don't like it, but I think I could buy it because people react so differently when it comes to horrible tragedies and traumatic situations. So, do I like the idea of Luke fucking flying off to flying off to an island and becoming a hermit and the Jedi must die? No, I don't like seeing Luke like that. And I've seen enough in life to see people sort of give up, though. So. Do I want to see that in Star Wars? Do I want to see that with my childhood hero, Luke Skywalker? No, I don't. But
there you go.
I could buy it happening. Yeah.
Yeah, and I bought 5 copies.
Oh, there you go. You could really buy it happening.
This is a really interesting point that I thought was kind of funny. So Eric's throwing in here real quick. Is assisted storytelling just retconning?
Ooh,
because that's, I guess,
yeah.
the more we described it, what it fucking sounds like.
To an extent, Eric. Yeah. Well, retconning is to completely erase. Like, for example, retconning would be that the Grand Inquisitor is actually dead. That's retconning, because later in the future, he's in Rebels and he's the main villain of season 1. How is he then dead? That would mean that Obi-Wan retconned the Grand Inquisitor's story arc. So that's not what assisted storytelling is.
Yeah, so this is, by the way, I just had to look it up because I was really curious, and I've seen this before, okay. The actual definition of retcon in a film, television series, or other fictional work is this specifically. Retcon is a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events, typically used to facilitate a dramatic plot shift or account for an inconsistency. Okay. So, what's interesting is nothing in that definition makes it sound like that they would actually like change a distinguished storyline from what it is. This does sound like what you described as assisted storytelling, typically used to facilitate a dramatic plot shift or account for an inconsistency. Is that not what we were saying? We brought up that Rogue One is a whole movie just to explain why the fucking Death Star sucked. So
yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. And I mean, you have it right there. That's what it means. I think just the connotation of retcon means erase.
I think that's what our slang definition of it is.
Yeah, like the connotation.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like how kind of we interpret it more so than anything else. But I guess, yeah, as far as like, again, technical definition, if you will, that's what it looked like it was there. So, yeah, I don't know.
So, quite literally, yes, Eric, it is retconning.
Well, and then this is really interesting. So now I'm super curious. Okay, hold the fucking phone here. What the fuck?
Stop. Let's skip all. Yes, I guess it's intertextuality, man.
What the fuck is the relationship between texts, especially literary ones? I
thought it was a gender.
Okay.
Come on.
Have a sense of humor.
Oh my God. Schofield saying we should just rename this stream "What Assisted Storytelling Is," or make a short of this just explaining it. That would, yeah, I should. I'd just take the snippets from this stream, put it into a highlighted little clip, and then just explain, or assisted storytelling explained.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric's telling. So the big thing we're all wondering now: who will Johnny Depp play in Star Wars now that he's back in business?
All right, Thrawn. How about Thrawn? Are we up for Johnny Depp?
No.
Okay.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I would not be upset if Johnny Depp popped up as an Inquisitor.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't be against it.
Well, we're missing 2. There are 2.
He guys, and Charlie in a chocolate factory, right? That was I'll show myself out.
Oh Oh my god. Hello,
Or, you know,
Starshine. The
I
Earth
could-
says hello.
Oh,
I could see him.
what was happening there? All right, please just go on. Fucking.
I could actually see him, and this is
But I love Johnny Depp. Ed Wood is one of my favorites, and so just to be clear.
Yeah.
I'm thinking strictly from like maybe from like appearance and stuff. So I'm not too sure, but maybe he could be like a relative of Bodhi Rook or Bodhi Rook or whatever from Rogue One.
There's a lot. There's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. And
Maybe he could be like a rebel of some kind.
Yeah, he'll probably be a rebel of some kind, a cool rebel with a cool gun.
Or you could just fucking Zach Braff it and make him an alien that is so heavily covered up in a suit you can't even tell who it is.
I like it too.
Make him a
James,
hammerhead or something like that.
James Bond was a stormtrooper.
Johnny Depp is a drunk Jedi being chased by the Sith thing. Remember, this is the day you almost caught Jedi Johnny Depp.
I want to see that. I do want to
Wow.
see that.
I like it.
Oh gosh, man. Oh gosh. Eric, come on, man. I loved what they did with Luke.
Yes,
Fuck
Eric.
the out of
Yes,
here.
yes, Eric. I'm with you, Eric. I'm with you, Eric.
Well, and it was fun talking to Eric and John, but we're gonna have to go ahead and move on.
Oh, jeez. No, Last Jedi has fans, man, and they're coming out a lot more. It's almost like a prequel type thing where everybody's kind of quiet at first, and then all of a sudden people are like, nah, F you. I like Last Jedi. I'm seeing that a lot more in fandom.
It's
To each his
true,
own,
man.
man.
No,
Hey,
it's true.
read.
And-
I want you to read this, Chase, and then I want to hear your impression of Kyle Ren.
What am I reading this like I'm Kyle Ren or something?
Sure.
Kyle Ren or Kylo Ren?
Yeah, because he does a great Kyle impression.
Wait, what? What's the?
I just want to hear Chewbacca. man, before we leave.
think I do a good Kyle impression, bro? Like,
Oh, dude, like this one, man. Like, you think this is like? So this is kind of all right. So like, the Last Jedi was great, and Luke wasn't fully a coward. He tried to fight off Kylo Ren, bruh.
I didn't realize that you named that Kyle. I didn't realize that my
That's like a Keanu Ren type.
Yeah, man.
No, there you go. Now it's
Oh
more.
my God.
Now it's more of a Keanu Ren.
hey,
Hey,
you know,
I want to see Keanu Reeves in Star Wars too, by the way. But let's not.
dude, people have been saying forever that he's going to be Revan, which I know people have conflicting
Yeah, he
emotions
has
about
to.
because
Mhm.
one of the things with Revan is that he's not actually supposed to like be anyone. Like you're supposed to be Revan as you play the game, and I get it. But I mean, come on, if anyone's going to be Revan, one of the few people I
Guys.
would be okay with it is fucking Keanu Reeves, man.
Guys, the Acolyte TV show is still has wheels.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to take place 100 years before the prequel, the Phantom Menace, or more than that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's still a chance, man.
Yeah,
You know what
no,
gives me hopes with shows like that, like because there's already been things like Bad Batch, any which we've seen, and like initially I was like Bad Batch, and then after I saw the show, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love Bad Batch. I was initially like when I heard about Andor, I was like, Andor, really? All right.
Mhm.
And now I've seen the trailers, and I'm like hyped for Andor. I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah. But
So,
you
yeah,
spend a lot of time in Coruscant, right?
Yeah,
It looks like
it
it.
seems like it. Yeah. So whenever
Yeah.
we hear about these shows in the future and they sound a little like I don't know, I have a little hope for it. You know.
Nice.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And then at least just to kind of very briefly, seriously comment, Schofield, on what you're saying here. Like, trust me, man, I will never be able to full out agree with this. But I am glad that there are people that like it as much as they do, right? And here's the thing, man. It's not like I'm one of those people. I don't sit there on the end of the spectrum where I'm like, I'll never fucking watch The Last Jedi again. That piece of shit. I don't even consider that canon. And if you like Last Jedi, then you're not a real Star Wars fan. Like, I think all those people who talk like that can also fuck all the way off because that's taking it way too far. Like, holy shit, man. It's one thing if you don't care for it, but it's not to the point of that. And that's basically where I'm at, right? Like, I don't really, as a totality, like the movie as a whole, there's cool moments within the movie, but as a whole, I don't really appreciate what it did to Star Wars canon. I really don't. And again, most of it is like with Luke, there's certain I don't care for how they advanced Rey's character at all. I feel like Kylo Ren is actually one of the only redeeming factors, really, of the whole sequel trilogy, but especially of The Last Jedi. So I don't know. I have a lot of mixed emotions. I feel like Snoke got completely fucked over. That was such a great opportunity for a cool new character that they were just like, nah, we're just gonna pull the plug on that because fuck you. That's why. And it was just, I don't know. It didn't work for me. And that's the biggest thing. It just didn't work for me. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, I don't understand how it worked for somebody else. So I'm glad that you did happen to like it. I would respectfully disagree. I do think, I don't know, man. And he extends upon this comment. I do feel like Luke was a coward, right? So it wasn't fully a coward. It was just somewhat a coward. I don't know, man. He literally ditched everything, told close to no one where he was going, and seemingly was going to live out the rest of his existence on Ahch-To, and just that's it, dude. And like, I guess I'm gonna die an old man here. The Jedi are gonna die with me, and fucking that's it, right? Just this is the end officially. So to me, that, I'm sorry, but I do look at that as a coward move, as well as being a hermit. Like, if I'll tell you what, if that's not being a hermit, and if that's not a coward move, then I would love to know what is, because I feel like that's pretty strong. A pretty strong fitting definition of it. And again, it's like one of those biggest things of what Anthony was saying. And Anthony, I respect your opinion on even more. It's so tough because it's not just like, oh, Luke was this cool character in one movie and then they tarnished it. No, he was established over decades as one of the most iconic, heroic characters that people idolized for so long. And the reason they did was the way he went from this scrawny little farm boy that was like very kind of annoying, to be honest with you, to a composed, well-structured, like, and just honestly admirable guy that had a very positive and optimistic mindset. So to see it completely, like 100% do a 180, I am not okay with that. And it's fine if people are, but there is no convincing me that it's like, hey, man, it made sense, though. I'm sorry. I don't think it does. If you do, that's great. I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it fits. I feel like that was shitty writing. And he's saying I should apparently be complaining about the casino plot more than Luke. Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'll put it this way. Like, no, because Luke is a bigger deal to me. I just don't fucking care about the casino stuff, right? That's like, I guess, where I would come. But I will say, I know exactly what you mean, because yeah, the casino shit in that movie is stupid. So
Canto bites. Canto bites.
Canto Bite. It sounds like a cool place to go. I gotta say that. Let's see. Yeah, I've changed my attitude on life in just a few years pretty radically. So over that amount of time, who knows? I'm guessing Eric is talking about as far as with Luke. Oh, wait, hold on. Because Schofield was throwing this in. I'm sorry. Also, remember that Luke was basically a kid during the original trilogy. So why doesn't he change over the years? Well, didn't I just kind of mention as far as he did change? Is that what we're saying? Right?
Yeah, I guess he's being rhetorical.
Okay.
I can see that.
Okay. Ooh. Hold on. This was interesting. I feel bad because I don't know this character as much, but Shane was trying to give some suggestions as far as for who Johnny Depp should be, but he threw in this. Do you guys feel like this would be interesting?
Oh, yes.
Dude.
Yes. But there's already a live action Hondo. He's at the theme parks.
At the theme park, yeah. Which looks awesome, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
But, But
Yeah.
still, I can see Johnny Depp doing that part.
I think it's the same voice actor that plays Hondo, and they just put him in makeup.
Yeah, dude, it legitimately is as far as like how they put that together. And oh my god, it's Jim Cummings. That's who the guy is that does the voice. Which, by the way, dude, he's a fucking legendary voice actor. He does Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. Yeah, and like a whole bunch of stuff like that. He's really well known for. He does. Do you guys know Pete from like the Goofy movie and shit like that?
Yeah, like the Mickey Mouse characters.
Yeah, right. He does Pete. It's insane.
How many people Bane as well, or no?
No, Cad Bane is I can't remember the guy, but it's a different guy who does Cad Bane.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So like that'd be perfect.
Yes.
I would love to see Jim Cummings like voice still the character. But honestly, if they were to get like Johnny Depp, dude, I'd be okay with Johnny Depp.
Ahsoka. Ahsoka has a different voice actress.
Yeah.
Yep. True. Right.
Yeah.
Then there was a point where
people Eckstein or Eckstein. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Ashley Eckstein.
There was a point where they wanted her.
Not happy about that. Yeah.
Well, because there was a point in time where they wanted her to play the live action version. Because to be fair, it's not like that wouldn't have worked. She kind of resembles things just enough to maybe be able to pull it off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Hold on. I was trying to. This is it's getting towards the end, so I'll go ahead and throw this one out there because we literally are getting towards the tail end of this part here. I was never quiet with my love. I thought he said quite in love, and I was totally reading that wrong. I was never quiet with my love for Last Jedi. I actually liked it even more the first, but more at first. The Rise of Skywalker kind of took it down a peg for me. Okay, so basically the third movie made the second movie not that great for you.
Okay, fair enough. Boy.
And the third movie just, I don't want to talk about it.
Thinks he could be. This is interesting. Thinks that Johnny Depp could be a Han Solo type of character, so maybe like some like badass rebel or something like that. Make the character his own. Interesting.
I love the Hondo. I love Hondo. That makes sense.
I love that suggestion too.
Yeah.
Hey, fan casting, man. It happens. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Rosario Dawson was hinted at playing Ahsoka. Someone did fan art of her.
John Krasinski.
Yeah.
John Krasinski is Reed Richards. Yeah, dude. Like, that's another one. Exactly. There's been a couple, actually, where that's really panned out. And that's really cool that ends up working like that. Because, I mean, some people got some really good fucking ideas when they're throwing that out there. It's not just like, oh, yeah, that'd be interesting to see this. No, it's like, damn, that really fits.
That would work. Yeah, it works.
Let's see. Schofield is throwing in Keanu Reeves in Star Wars would be the one time blasters will look cooler than lightsabers.
Yeah.
True, very true. But I'll tell you, I want to see Keanu with some fucking lightsabers, though, man.
Yeah,
a purple one.
I want to see him full on be like Revan. Well, like so Revan starts off where he's like Jedi, like then he falls to the dark, and then he kind of comes back where he's like Jedi Reborn or Revan Reborn. I want to see him like at that point eventually where he's Revan Reborn and he has one red lightsaber and one purple lightsaber. Fuck yeah. And if you haven't seen that, Google Revan Reborn, and you'll see one of the coolest Star Wars pictures you've like ever seen. Schofield, doing an essay on what? That's awesome. What fucking class are you able to do an essay on Star Wars, man? That's dope. So on Disney Star Wars specifically, and then the problem with Luke is how he changed between movies. In the first movie, he is a legend. The second movie, he is traumatized, and in the third, he is helpful.
Okay.
Nice. Well, I mean, yeah. I'm guessing writes just an elaborate paper describing all of that type of stuff. So character development throughout that course. That's cool, man. Well, I'm definitely as far as curious about what the hell was I going to say here? What that turns into? Like, what class is that for? That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy is Cad Bane. What?
Cast Tom Hardy as Cad Bane.
They already got Cad Bane.
Yeah, they already got a Cad Bane.
Yeah.
Because of Bane. Because of Bane.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Fair. Shane was saying no mention of Quinlan Voss.
Yes. Yeah, they
That's
mentioned him. He was there.
So that's something. Do you think they're going to go anywhere with that, though? Or do you think it was just a mention?
They're not going anywhere with that.
Yeah, I know. I would love it. I wouldn't be
planting seeds, and we're not going anywhere. Come on, guys. I don't want too many Obi-Wan brothers floating around. Like, if you're gonna say things, do something with it. You know, go somewhere with it.
Yeah, that's true.
But we'll see. To be fair, if we get the chance to do a stream, like when this is all done, I think it'd be awesome. You know, to follow up and see like, did it all fall apart or not? Hopefully not. Did they follow up or not?
If we get a chance, of course, we'll be doing a fucking stream when this is all over. My goodness gracious. We already wanted to make this a weekly thing, and then we got thrown off because they released the first 2 episodes of Kenobi on Friday, and then instead of doing it weekly like they have with everything else, they're like, hey, how about we release it a couple days early?
I don't know why they didn't consult with us. I have no idea.
It's never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would be a little tiny bit upset that they were releasing Kenobi a few days earlier than I thought they were.
Man, screwed up my live stream.
Yeah, basically, because I was like, damn it, I was going to do it today, but now they released a new episode today. Shane was also saying, but he literally tells us how to talk to Qui-Gon with his message, which is,
true.
I mean, yeah, totally fair point, dude. I can't wait. I know it's jumping across this real quick, but I really can't wait until we get to that point. I think they're going to wait until the finale. I'd be surprised if they had it in before, but I really think that's going to be so dope to hear Liam Neeson come back. As far as Qui-Gon, that's good. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. He's got one of the most epic voices. Him and like Morgan Freeman. I feel like some of the people have like some of the most epic voices. You just hear them talk about damn near anything. In English, apparently, Schofield was saying that his class was English that he was doing today. So with that being said, we've kind of gotten to the tail end of everything here as far as with the comments. I feel as though we've gotten a chance to discuss a very decent amount of stuff as far as with the show. And so I want to go ahead and start to get and bring this to a close here. It looks like Dan was saying, good stream. Why, thank you, good sir. I appreciate you being here, broski. And yes, Eric, they are all on Wednesday now. Yeah. So as far as from this point forward, for some reason they started on a Friday, and then they're like, nah, fuck you, it's Wednesday now.
Which pretty much means everybody's awake at 4 a.m. watching it on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Scoot up for work and school and everything the next day. That's how it is.
It's either that. I got to the point where instead of staying up for it like that, because it comes out, it's released at 2 a.m. for where I'm at. So instead of that nonsense, I just try to wake up early as I can in the morning and catch it like before work or something like that.
Even that's weird though, right? Like eating breakfast and catching up on Star Wars is.
Yeah, dude. Well, I feel like no, it's for me. I'm like sitting there like half asleep in my bed still, and I'm just like, what happened? Like, cool, Kenobi and Vader said something. So anyway, what I do want to say is everybody be on the lookout, because this is something that I am only hopeful that I will be able to get these guys back with me, as to have more conversations with the show as it keeps on progressing. But no matter what, I'll definitely be back here to continue these live discussions about Obi-Wan for you guys. And we are going to see, because I really am trying to work it out so I can get some other like more focused topic, like scripted videos that I can squeeze out in the midst of all this as well. Ooh, real quick. I feel so bad. It's towards the end here. But Brian, what's up, man? It's good to see you. And I, again, feel bad because it's literally towards the tail end here, Brian. But nonetheless, I'm very appreciative that you stopped by. So I want to go ahead and, like I said, just re-mention, be on the lookout. Going to have definitely more streams about this show, more streams just in general, as far as like about Star Wars, Marvel as a whole for a topic. Of course, got to throw some DC some love there at some point in time. But what I want to go ahead and, aside from getting some other very kind words from our viewers here, guys, I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for being a big part of this, right? By the way, I want to say not just thank you as far as the guys here with me, everyone that has been watching that's in the comments. Appreciate you guys helping to be there to assist this assisted storytelling with our conversation. All right, so what I'm going to do here is toss it over to each of my dudes so they can shout themselves out a little bit, because I feel like that's just like the typical go-to thing at the end of stream. So first and foremost, I'm going to throw it over to the man who was kind enough to put the thumbnail together and want to do this in the first place. Anthony. Anything you'd like to say, man? What you got coming up?
Well, first of all, it's awesome having this little reunion with these guys, Cinema Squad, back in the house, and it's just been a blast. Thank you everybody who showed up tonight and commented and watching and checking us out. Really appreciate it. Thank you all. Hope you all have a nice night, and appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Very nicely said. Very nicely said. Appreciate you being here, Anthony. And I'm gonna go ahead and toss it over to you, Mr. Man of Movies.
What is up, everybody? You can find me here on YouTube, Man of Movies. I have a nice back catalog that you can go check out some of my videos. Got rankings, got movie reviews, all that type of good stuff, live streams. But if you want to catch me on a more frequent basis, catch me on Instagram, Man of Movies 96, Man of Movies 96. It's been an awesome time, guys. Awesome time.
Well, thank you, John. And I can only wait until everybody goes and checks out Man of Movies channels and they go, my God, this guy really knows how to break down a movie well. I fucking love listening to him talk about it. And then you'll go and you'll try to find new ones and you'll say, I want to hear John talk about the newest movies. And then you'll find nothing. Nothing. Because he's a dad now. YouTube's over with. This is the closest that you're getting to anything.
I'm done. Maybe when my kids are Anthony's age, I'll have some time.
No,
it'll come. It'll come. Man.
And obviously, and I'm being facetious as can be. No, I'm super happy that at least we're still getting a chance to do this, and it's my way of saying on a less joking format, of course. Right? We got all of us coming back together. Everybody, be on the lookout. It's funny because it's already within June. We've been hyping this up, and we still have yet to hit you with the official date. But God damn it, it's coming soon. So everyone, be on the lookout. Shooting the Shit is coming back. All of the Cinema Squad together. I'm going to have that as far as, good old season 2 lasting up at least for a little bit of time for you. And the one thing I'll say is don't you worry. There won't be such a big break in between seasons 2 and season 3. I guarantee you that. But in the meantime, all of you, thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, Anthony, John, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, guys. And I can't wait as far as until the next episode just to watch it, of course, but then to be able to dissect it further with all of you. thank you, everybody. Aw. I think, wait, is it long love or long live? I'm cool with either. Long love and live the Cinema Squad. Thanks, Brian, my man. All right, so let's go ahead, guys, bring this to a close. Thank you, everybody. You take care. Have a good rest of the day or evening or morning, again, whatever it is by and everything like that. And come by next time, would you? We really appreciate you being here. We like you guys. We like you. So
Yeah.
come back. Come on back now, you hear? All right, we're